then we'll just get into it. Yeah.
All right, so last session we started traversing the Borskire Bridge. We took note of the decorations and we walked its great length, the 5 miles to get to the other side, and we saw that underneath it, the water turned blood red at sunset. On the other side, Henri messaged Macretus, asking about the state of Icewind Dale and letting him know that we were headed to Cormier. We got an answer saying, I'm not exactly sure what you guys did, but things are worse in the north. However, things are bad in Waterdeep with the body doubles, and I will get back to you soon. We rested past the bridge. Grin took first watch. Kino took second. Uh, we headed past Triel. Um, we we didn't stop for long. Uh, Kino got a blue beer, and we finally got to the edge, past Triel, to Grin's village. We ran into a human disguised as an ancient steel dragon named Velric, and Kino realized she had greatly upset him by ruining his game. Uh, Kino told him that she freed him from the book. She said it was an honor to have freed him, and that she remembered the passage that bound his soul to the page. She did not know who trapped him in the book, but she did know why, and she was the one responsible for his liberation. While he did not seem friendly, he also did not seem aggressive. He flew off, and the time around the village seemingly unpaused, freeing all the gnomes within the village. And while Kino was unhappy about how things ended with the dragon, she was happy to see that the inhabitants of Grin's town were relatively unharmed. Since Grin left, we heard that the town had a silver boom, despite the mine collapse Grin caused, where the miners found a silver vein running miles underneath the town. We also heard about the Black Cow, roughly translated to the Obsidian Cow, which was a band of wizards that took interest in the town after the silver boom and had renovated the old church and was now growing a covered, secretive crop. The group also found out that um, the mine collapse Grin caused the death of several people, and this led to the town heavily persuading him to leave. Abel also found out that a man by the name of Tamberbaum was responsible for the construction of a variety of automatons within the town, which were large humanoid constructs that had doors on all of them that were made by Grin's father. And we ended the session with Abel. I don't know if we want to end up retconning this, but Abel was headed towards Timberbaum's house.
Yeah, I think what we're gonna do to like make Abel's thing a little easier, so that we don't have to like role play him, because I talked to him about this too. Abel's gonna explain to the whole group that he came here to help, but he gets pulled back into. He basically just can't not be around the Ori, and he decides to go back, and he like apologizes and goes through you guys, but he basically says, "I'm gonna go back and do this stuff. It's just too interesting, and I can't like really stand to be away from it." So, and that's how we'll get him out. He's gonna go back into the Ori. Now that said, what I will allow you to do is if anyone had attuned, did anyone actually choose to attune to the item? They don't have to at this point, obviously,
I think it was
because it's
Henri.
Yeah, it
yeah.
was.
Honor, you can take that out. You don't have to. You
Yeah,
can
because
obviously,
we
yeah,
talked about that. We talked
yeah,
about that though.
yeah. Cool. All right, good. Yeah.
Yeah, I am
Okay.
already unattuned.
Perfect. Okay. All right, yeah, right. So essentially now you guys are free to do whatever you want. Obviously they had mentioned to you that there was this like a nice place to stay at least for the night, to go through it if because not everyone can obviously fit into Grin's house here, is to stay in the tavern that they talked about. Or you guys can decide what you're gonna do. I mean, it is getting relatively late. It's like 6, 7 o'clock at night. at this point. So Abel was gonna head off there the next morning and talk to the artificers. So
Well, what do you guys want to do?
I'm sorry. What time of day is it?
6, 7
around
o'clock.
7 o'clock. Yeah,
6 o'clock. I'm
7 o'clock.
sorry. Yeah, I spaced out when you said that.
No worries.
We can't stay in the village long because we do have to be somewhere. We were told that there's like an inn that's a big inn that we can actually fit inside.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's over here. So if you look at the stream, this is what they suggested.
I'm in Tailspire. It just says waiting on GM. Am I in the wrong game?
No,
You might be on the
probably not.
wrong
It's,
board though. You got to go to
yeah,
Overworld
hold on.
and then space.
I
and
can
then-
actually fetch here though. I should be able to bring him in no matter what. So let
It
me
looks
know.
like you're here.
Oh, yeah. No, here we go. I'm in.
All right, cool. Yeah, that's a bug. I don't know why it does that. I need to like do it like 100 times, but anyway. Okay. So Intel's yeah. So it's this tavern over here. So if you guys want to walk over and take a look, I can describe it to you. But it's this place over here.
Ooh, the
Yeah.
windmill.
Why
Yeah,
don't
it's
you
got a giant
guys
windmill.
why don't you guys go over there and see about maybe getting us a room? I just want to talk to my parents real quick.
All right. Well, let us know if you need anything.
Yep. All right. We'll do that. So let's do you with your parents first, Grin. So you guys start to walk over. John, I changed your miniature out. This is your miniature.
Oh,
for
thanks.
now. So you guys can go over there and I'll describe that in a second. But for now, so Grin, your parents see everyone go to leave. Uh, your mom does come up to you, by the way, and she gives you another hug, and she says, I'm so happy that you came back. Really, really, I'm super happy.
Yeah, I would just wanted to make sure me being back in town isn't like it's not going to cause problems, right? Like
So
am I allowed to be here?
yeah, so they both look they basically both look at each other. Your mom gives you a worried look. Go ahead and give me an insight check.
Oh, I'm so good at those.
Yep.
No, it's a solid 8.
Okay. She says she seems like she's sincere and she says she says listen, no matter what happened, no matter all the bad stuff that I don't even want to discuss or talk about or families losing people or any other of that, like she said obviously I can't like promise that people won't be angry, but who cares? You're my son, and I'm happy you're here. That was how she responds. She answers your question. I think, but what you gain from that is that it's ambiguous.
Yeah, okay. I just, I don't want to show up and cause you guys a bunch of trouble or, have them run us out of town or anything. Because
Your dad said, no, son. He's like, son, look what I've done here. I really don't think that would be a problem. He said, I'm kind of a pivotal part of the town now, and we're happy to see you back. Yes, some folks might be, upset, especially families that may have lost people. But at the end of the day, it wasn't your fault. It was a mistake. It's fine. And yeah, at least stay at night. She said, as a matter of fact, there's interesting things that are happening here anyway. Like we still don't know what's going on with the future of the town regardless. Maybe it's good that you guys are here at least for a night. So just to, take a rest and go through it. And he does say that you're welcome to stay with them if you want, but he understands if you want to stay with your friends too. It's fine.
yeah, I have to keep an eye on that elf. She's a problem.
He says, your mom says, no, I understand. It's fine. Go be with your friends. Go be with your new adventuring friends. And she says that she's proud of you, by the way. She says this is, and she also explains this is, this was a pleasant surprise anyway. So they're happy.
Come on, Grin. You don't want to sleep on the little baby bell they have for you?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just gonna, give him a hug and then go off towards the end.
All right. Yeah, so you start making your way there and so the group, this is the first thing that you guys notice. So uh so for an inn, you're actually a little surprised that there's a weapons rack like right on the front side here behind the wall. But then when you start looking closely, it looks like it's actually this is actually an open air blacksmithing piece. This is part of like maybe the draw of this place. But what's also interesting is that there is a restaurant on the top of the inn on the inside, and it looks like you can just barely make out the fact that the windmill, by the way, does look functional. And it looks like what they've done is they have transitioned this old mill and built kind of this extension and thing around it. So it looks like when you sit down and eat, they actually make the bread right in front of you with the mill right there, which is a pretty neat draw to send people in and go through it. And it smells of really fresh baked bread as soon as you get over here. There's also like some sweet smells and some other things, so there's a decent amount going on in the restaurant. It looks like this is actually probably as restaurants are concerned, probably a better caliber restaurant than you're used to. Going through, besides of course the stuff that you've been to in Neverwinter, which you assume will far outclass us. But other than that, you also notice that it looks like the construction is definitely a little more hastily made around the building itself. It certainly looks like whoever has purchased this thing has done well, because you can see rooms extended on other rooms and kind of hastily constructed and going through it. But the craftsmanship is all very good. So
This place looks cool.
I should
Yeah,
pick up some of that bread.
I'm glad they built like big buildings. I mean, the normal
yeah,
buildings here used to be a nightmare.
yeah, that's something that you would essentially like notice right away. Not only does this building look human size, and the buildings back here look like they've been modified, but certain other buildings around the town look like they're now human size as well. So that's a good point. Yep. And as you guys go through and start to walk in, let's see if I can get this to behave. Let me get the. Oh God, this is a bug. I hate this thing. Hold
Kino,
on.
What's that?
we're all moving our pieces in.
Yep.
I don't. Oh, here she is.
Yep. Is anyone having any problems with the interior stuff? I think I've got it on mine. Yep.
Nope.
All right, cool. All right.
Henri immediately
So-
jumping on the table.
Yep.
Shh.
So
She saw what
So-
looked like pies and
Yeah,
jumped on the table.
yeah, so as you start to walk in, sure enough, this place, yeah, I'll help you out. It's kind of a nightmare, John, here. Yeah, let me get you in here. And then man. There we go. Okay. So this is the first thing you notice. As you walk in, there is actually a huge table that does have multiple desserts. It's not exactly like it is in Telspire. These are actually dyes in Telspire, but they are actually meant to be different desserts. There's literally a giant like vanilla like smelling like pie in the very middle of this, and then there are other fruit pies that are going through in various sizes as well. The largest one, though, is incredibly, insanely large, enough to feed probably 10, 12 people. You see the same on the other side. And then when you start looking around, you do see that there's a table that's outfitted with just a ton of adventuring gear. And sure enough, at that table, you see several different um, several different figures. They're all human. They look there's four of them. They look like they're from various ages, all the way from 20 to 40. Let me start placing them. Um, and they look like they're a little bit rough around the edges. They're going through their packs. The reason why you can tell though that these guys must be adventurers is that sure enough, it does look like they have certain trinkets and other things around them that could be magical. They also have a various amount of like weaponry on them as well. It doesn't look like any of them are necessarily magic users, but they do all look like they're decently skilled, well trained, like adventurers, mercenaries, something. And they have a bunch of weaponry and gear and everything laid out. They're also eating in between all of this as well. There is also within this tavern. I will let you describe your character, Tippity. Go ahead and describe
So
the
yeah,
Yep.
it's a little frogman with little to no gear on him. So he has like a backpack and a little spear on his back, and that's it basically.
Yep, and this is him here. And what you guys also notice when you come in is this tavern, this restaurant is actually also operating as what looks like an adventuring outpost. There are several different weapons. As you start looking through them, and I'll skip this. Once you start to realize that none of these weapons are magical weapons, they look like they're decently well made, but none of them would even be anything that would have like a bonus on it or anything mechanically. They're good. They're nicely built weapons. It looks like they are getting built right here on the Altar Blacksmith. Um, uh, it hits everyone a little bit odd because I mean this is the very first time that you've seen like an adventuring outpost slash restaurant all tied into one thing. But that said, it's certainly here and thriving and doing well. You can hear there's people. There must be a decent amount of people staying at the top of this inn as well because you can hear them going back and forth. But right now it's just the five of you within here. There is also a tavern keep that's also here. Let me put him down. He's like surveying everything and looking at it. It also looks like the kitchen isn't on this level, so they must be bringing food from like the top floor or somewhere else. But he is he's in the corner here. He's a dwarf. It looks like he's a little older. He's got a gray beard. And he's like basically watching everyone. As soon as you guys come in, he actually greets you and says, "Hey, how's it going, everyone? Can I get you anything? Food, gear, weapons?" And he starts pointing to the floor over here as well.
We need a room for the night.
Well, you've come to the right place. I don't have many left, but I'm sure we'll manage. I know I have at least 3 left. How many rooms do you need?
We get 2.
2 is fine. 3 gold apiece.
I'll put down 3 gold.
Okay.
I'll put down the other 3 gold.
I'll take one of the rooms. Henri, you're welcome to share with me. I just need a quiet night.
He takes the gold and he goes to his counter here, and underneath one of the shields, the one that's actually standing right here as well, there's a little like basically like hatch that he opens like from the table. So the table has a built-in box that's set up. He takes one of the keys out and then he finds and rummages through another key, um, and he hands you the 2 keys. Says, "Thank you very much." He says, "Would you like some wonderful food from our establishment?" And he sends a whistle out with his hands.
Yes.
Yeah, what do you have?
He says, "Why don't you look at the weapons and gear and other adventuring thing of sort? It looks like you folk could always be in use of gear. It looks like you're certainly capable. As you can see, he's eyeing your plate armor up and down. And he says, "That's from Neverwinter? You have Neverwinter plate?"
I do.
He says, "Impressive." He says, "Yes. So I'll let the restaurant owner come down and tell you exactly what she has. But for the meantime, look around, and see if there's anything that you could buy from me." He says, "If there is, just let me know. We can work on a price, something fair."
Would this be the place to maybe talk about selling some of the stuff we've acquired in our travels?
He said, "I guess certainly look at things for sure. I would certainly be willing to look at certain things."
I am just gonna kind of motion Henri over.
Okay, I'll come over.
And as you're going through and looking, you notice that uh, these guys over here um, are talking amongst themselves and have now started to look at you. Drop their conversation, and are eyeing like everyone over here like up quite a bit. Um, So Pippity, the other thing that you notice is that these are the very first people that you've seen in a long time that actually look like they're strong, capable people. They actually look like they're more capable at magic and other things, especially like when the druid walks in and you see what they actually have outfitted. And certainly somebody in full plate. You start to think to yourself, okay, these are probably one of the more like capable groups that I've seen in a while.
Okay.
Um, all right, so this guy over here in this direction, as he sees that you're getting ready and waiting for the food, he actually comes up, he motions to you, Kino.
Hello.
He says, you're going into the mines too, huh? And he starts looking you up and down.
Um, the mine's here.
He said, yeah. He said that's why you're here, right?
No, this is we've got personal ties to this village. What's in the mines?
He said, good. Absolutely nothing. I was just testing you. Good, good. And he looks
Uh-huh.
around and he looks at his friends and he goes through and he says, "See, boys, I told you." And it looks like they had some kind of bet or something, and he ended up winning it. So
Wow. Well, it's good to know there's mines here. I'm going to reach into the bag of holding and I'm going to pull out we'll start with 5 enchanted pickaxes. I'll lay them on the table.
you take so first and foremost, as they see you take your bag out and start basically taking pickaxes that could never fit in that bag, certainly not 5 of them. As a matter of fact, the bag doesn't even hold the shape of the pickaxes. A lot of them kind of looking out. You can see this too, but Pippity, your character can see this as well. Um, uh, and he leans them down on the table. The pickaxes themselves do actually have a small like hum when they hit the table. Otherwise, they just look like like the actual heads of them have like that like very obsidian sharp like nature. Um, and what do you want to do with them besides laying them out?
I was thinking about unloading some of these for a decent price.
No, are you asking? Are you like asking if these guys want to buy them? Because you're putting them out on the table here,
Oh,
right?
I
Well,
thought that she was putting them out to the shopkeep.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's. I want to
sell
clarify.
I
want to
wouldn't
clarify.
sell anything in a shop to someone that wasn't the shop. I
Okay,
wouldn't
cool.
do
Okay, all
business
right,
with
that's
one
fine.
of the yeah, I'm not going to step
Okay,
on
that's cool.
toes.
So you're doing it over here. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to
That's
sell them to the owner.
okay. So, you take them out, you put them down, and he's like, What do we have here? What are these?" Everyone's looking at you, though. These guys are looking at you too.
Enchanted pickaxes, incredibly strong enough to mine almost any substance. Uh, you can see for yourself. I have 5 here. What do you think?
He picks it up. He says, "Oh, it's a little lighter than I expected." He said, Wait, but how do I know these could like mine any substance?"
Uh, well, we picked these up quite a ways away. Um, they originate from the Underdark.
They're magic.
They're very magic.
He says, "Hmm." He says, "Well," and he looks back and he's like, he's like, to be honest, I don't want, the problem with magic items sometimes is they can be dangerous too. Like, how do I know that if I don't like, start using this, that in like a week, some, ancient spirit is going to overtake me or something?"
You're free to do an identify on them. Take a look at them. Do what you need to do magically. I want to make sure this deal
Yeah.
is in
He, lo-
good faith.
he looks at you. He says, he says, "What did he says, what are you talking about? An identify?"
The identify spell. It's quite basic magic.
He looks through and he's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I identify it, but I don't think that's gonna tell me any." And he goes through and he basically he goes through and he looks at the pickaxe. He says, "Identify." He said, and then he says, and he looks at you like you're crazy. He says, "You think I have magic where I can identify magic items?"
I mean, I probably shouldn't have assumed, but you seem to have quite a nice spread here.
He says,
Uh,
"Well," he says, "I just need some assurances that." And he picks up one of the axes again, and he goes through it. He's like, "You know what?" He's like, I could maybe take a chance on something like this, but I don't know." And he goes back and he starts looking at the item. He's like, Would you like to make a trade with something here? Maybe I'll even give you 2 of these." And he starts looking over the swords and the things.
Can one of our magic users cast detect magic on any of this stuff?
well, I was gonna say, yeah. Oh yeah, detect magic's not a bad
Because he
idea.
may have something he doesn't know about.
I could.
That's
It's a
always a
ritual.
possibility. That is always a possibility. Yeah.
I could
Well done.
sit down on the floor and ritual cast detect magic.
We'll stall for 10 minutes.
It's fine. Yeah, you can.
Yeah, Grin.
While that's happening, yeah, go ahead.
Grin's gonna walk up to the table full of weapons and really start to examine them, like he knows what they are.
Yep. He says, "Listen." He says, give me an offer." He says, how much do you think this is worth?" He's looking at you, Kino. All right. If you don't say anything, if you're just going through, he's like, "Okay, here. I've got a fair price." He says, "You see this? You see this, Flamberg?" And he points to the larger 200 sword here. He's like, This is an expert piece of craftsmanship. This is 30 gold. I will give you 50 gold for one of your pickaxes."
I am going to pull out a piece of paper because this is a crowded shop.
Yep.
I'm going to write down 500 gold per pickaxe on the piece of paper, fold it in half, and slide it across the counter at him. This
Yep.
is what I'd be willing to start at.
He looks at you and he says, Fred, I don't even carry that kind of money. I'm sorry. That won't work."
Very well, then we will wait for a larger mining establishment. I'm saying these are quite valuable, quite magical. Make yourself a fortune on these.
Yep.
We'll be in town for the night. If you maybe want to get the funds together, I'd hate for you to miss out on an opportunity like this.
Yep. He says, "Suit yourself." He says, I think I gave you a very fair deal, though."
Oh no, I don't think you understand what these are, and I think that's part of the issue. But I thank you for your time. I was just wondering before we leave to see to our rooms, what do you have for magical trinkets and whatnot?
He says, Listen, he says, "Woman, where have you been going? Even in Neverwinter, do they just have magical trinkets laying around?" And he starts looking at the table and going through things, and he says, he says, you're free to look at anything in my shop, but I certainly have nothing that's, magical."
Did I mishear before when you said magical trinkets in the shop?
Yeah,
You said that
yeah.
there was
No.
So no, there's no magical trinkets. Yeah.
I think somebody said to do detect magic in case there's magical trinkets.
I thought you
yeah.
said
No, there's
I
no
thought you
magical.
said
There was
when
no magical trinkets in the description. Yeah.
oh
I said we should do a detect magic because I don't think he'd know if he had.
He wouldn't,
Did,
by the way.
did you
That's
say there
on
was
the other.
magical trinkets on the other adventurers? Maybe that's what it was.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yes.
maybe okay.
The other adventurers do have small magical trinkets on them, theoretically, and that's meaning that they have small little pieces that tend to glow or look cleaner than they normally would. And this is just from your passive perception, so somebody would have to really dig into that. Like for instance, casting detect magic would also outline certain things if there were magical items. But Grin is correct. He would never know if there were uncapped magical items here unless he could basically figure it out because they're extra clean or something. So
Yeah, I will thank him, and then I will kind of one by one put the pickaxes back. We'll be in town for a little bit. if you decide to change your mind or get the funds together you wish to acquire these.
Yep. So one of these guys actually stops what he's doing and he says, "Hey, woman, 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 can I talk to you for a second?"
My name's Kino.
He says, "Kino." He says, "My name is Braven."
You know, you
And
put the NPC by Henri, not Kino, right?
yeah, he's just talking through you, Andre. He's literally he sees you as
Rude.
like short. Yeah, he's literally talking right through you, and he's like, if you come over, he said, let's talk about the magic stuff you have in the bag.
Why don't we talk right here?
He says, fair enough, and he walks around you, Henri. Um, it's clear, by the way, when he does walk around you, that he's not he actually just thinks that you must be like maybe like part of the group or something, but he's like dismissing you as if you're a child. So I think it looks like he doesn't necessarily understand that you are a powerful wizard and must
You're
be like
also
tied to the group.
It's true.
you're also
I'm
sitting on the
baby.
floor casting a ritual spell.
Yeah, yeah,
It's true.
yeah,
I'm baby.
yeah. Yep. Yeah, he doesn't even notice the cat. So, he says, so what do you have in that magic bag of yours?"
Pickaxes. Would you want one?
He said, maybe we could work something out." He says, me and my friends are actually going into the mine later, and we could always use magical pickaxes."
I would say that's quite smart of you. Uh, would you have to trade maybe if you don't have the gold?
He says, he says, well, I mean, how much gold are we talking about?
500 gold each.
He looks at you like you're insane, and he's like, yeah. I don't even know what these things do. Like like he's like, listen, maybe if we can go back to the mines or something, you can show us how good these things are. We can work out a trade, but I am willing to trade. He's like, I found this, and he shows you what looks like a small amulet made out of bone. The bone itself looks like it's some kind of like squirrel skull, and he said this is magic, and he says, "You want to see?"
What does it do?
He said, "Well, first of all, do you want me to prove that it's magic?"
Um, I can kind of tell. Before I agree to let you use it, why don't you tell me what it does first?
He says, "Okay." He says, "Yeah." So he says, and he shows you that when you speak its command word, which is in a language you don't understand, but he'll give it to you, and you wear it. He says, "This helps you communicate with dead animals. As long as the animal is dead and it's an animal, you can talk with it. I found this myself."
What's the extent of the communication? Is it a certain amount of words? Is it a certain amount of questions?
He said, "To be honest, I haven't really used it that much, but we could probably figure it out."
Does it require attunement?
He said, what's he said I don't know. I had to like basically basically once I wore it for long enough, I figured out this word that allowed me to communicate with it, and he shows you if you take it in, say the word, and you open the jaw of the thing, then it sure enough it does it has a small glimmer as if it could be a magic item.
I mean, it seems interesting. It seems like a novelty. It doesn't seem like one I could use or any of my friends could really use. Uh, Dead animals don't seem to have a lot of useful information. Is there anything else you have?
He says, "Hold on," and he goes through and um, he talks to these guys here. I go through in the corner. You can tell they're like quietly arguing over things.
Is this a human? What does this guy look like?
Yeah, they're all humans. Every single one of them is human. Yeah. And so this guy here is in his 30s or so. He looks pretty rough. They all actually have the weapons they have, even though it's not perfect. They all have like cudgels and shields. The shields are not actually this rough wooden material, though. The shields are actually steel bucklers. and it does look like all of them live on the road. They look pretty rough. All of them have like clothing that has been patched, and like it looks like they like basically have been living on the road for quite a bit, and they're going back and forth like discussing things.
Um,
Yep.
Can
Grin's
we hear
gonna
what they're saying?
Yeah, you can, but
Yeah.
you have to go ahead and make a perception check. Yeah.
approach the shopkeeper
Yep.
and just like under his breath be like, "Hey, who are these guys?" And gesture towards these people that Kino's talking to.
Yeah. He talks to you in a low tone. He says, weird folk have been coming in for a while now. These folk came in a couple days ago. He says, to be honest, I don't know, but they've paid their rent, and so far so good.
They mentioned something about going into the mines looking for something. Do you know what that's about?
He pushes you over here as well, and he says, friend, he says, listen, I don't have anything against your kind or whatever, but we have seen all kinds of strange things come in. Have you ever seen anything like that? And he points over to the frog map.
What do you
He's like,
mean, my
I,
kind?
he said orcs. He said, but look at that. He said, how do I even know I can let that into my inn? Now uh, that said, I know you're of you know, like what's your assessment of him? Should I be worried?
The frogman?
Yeah, he points over at the frogman. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I've never seen one of those in my life.
He said, I know. He said, where do they even come from? The ocean? The river?
Well, yeah,
What?
frogs. I don't think frogs live in the ocean.
He says, I don't know. He says, how do we know?
Because
Why don't
that's
you ask
true.
him?
And and he goes back to you and he says also, he says, uh but to answer your question, no, they seem fine. I mean that they haven't done anything bad in town or anything. So a lot of groups are coming in looking at stuff in the mines lately.
Are they also staying here?
He said they are. He said they absolutely are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris, do I hear anything with a 15 passive perception?
You hear that they're arguing with the 15 pass perception. They are going out of their way in this corner here to try to be as quiet as possible.
Yeah, my pass is a 17.
Yeah. So you notice that they're arguing as well. You also notice that it seems like the argument is centered around everyone trying to convince this guy in the back of something. Go ahead and give me an active perception check.
I did, it was a 10.
I got a 12.
Yeah, you just know that they're basically trying to convince this guy of something. All three of them are trying to convince him of something, and he's like pushing back on it.
I'm just gonna very kindly walk up to them and kind of stand far enough where I'm not intruding on their space, but just waiting to get a word in.
Okay. I mean, after a couple minutes. By the way, at this point, your detect magic goes off, Henri. It's all set up. Once you start looking around, uh, one of the things that you notice right off the bat is that nothing on his table has an outline, glowing
Hmm.
outline. As you start looking over on this table here, you do notice that one of the vials of liquid is magic on this side. Um, but this is actually grouped in with all the other vials, and it looks like he believes that these are all some kind of like alcohols. So it doesn't look like these are like categorized in any different way. It's only this one though, the
Hmm.
one that I'm going to here, that
Okay.
has some kind of magical property. But other than that, everything else looks to be mundane. As you look over, it does look like, sure enough, the guy that mentioned that his necklace was magic does have a faint glow to it. This guy over here has what looks like, and you can't really right now the magic is actually covered underneath a cloth, but you can see the outlines of it. He's got something stuffed in his shirt that is magic. It's underneath like the knives and the stuff over here, but there's an outline of something, and you can see that he's got some kind of magic item. It's bigger than the necklace. It's solid too. It looks like it could be like some kind of like rod or dagger or sword or something like that. So
Hmm.
Do we get schools of magic on those?
yeah. So the liquid doesn't. The liquid doesn't give you a school of magic because the liquid is some kind of potion. That's all you get is that it's some kind of magical liquid. You'll have to try the potion in order to figure that out. However, the on this one, uh, Henri will know that that is transmutation magic.
Just checking. There's nothing on the ground, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Uh,
Nothing
s-
lights up.
So I'm gonna walk over to Kino and I'm gonna like get her attention subtly and tell her that the one the one potion bottle over there, I'm gonna specifically point out which one it is magic.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
And
liquid
that
in
guy in the
the.
corner has something. It looks like it might be some kind of like magical weapon. I can't make it out very well though. It's covered.
Okay. Do we share any other languages?
We both have Elvish.
Uh, I will kind of like nod subtly and kind of like motion with my head very subtly that she should go over and get it, but don't make a big deal of it.
Should I ask the shopkeeper if I could buy it?
Does this kind of look like the place? Do we get the vibe this is a place where you gotta like kind of get help from the staff if you want anything, or can you just bring stuff to the counter? Nothing's in cases or anything, right?
I don't want him to think that I'm stealing though.
Just bring it up to the front. We got nothing to hide.
Fair enough.
You could also, I mean, so Andre, you would know that, like, I mean, one of the ways to get rid of, like, to solve this problem is just to go and ask him and buy it
Okay.
as well. Yeah.
So, I'm actually going to take Kino's advice and I'm going to say, "Excuse me," to the grung, and I'm gonna go around him and pick up the potion bottle and bring it over to the shopkeep.
All right.
Excuse me again. How much is this?
And he says, yeah, he said that's rubbing alcohol. He said, I'll give it to you for 50 silver.
Okay.
Braven, was it?
You're talking to the guy over here. He said,
Yes.
that's right.
Um, do any of your other friends have better offers?
He said, we're working on it. And he kind of like, he says, listen, I need to discuss some things over here with my friend where we are working this out between ourselves. So we're
Very well.
trying. We'll see.
Well, as one adventure to another, I promise I would not lead you astray. I want to just make sure our trade's even. But I thank you.
Excuse me.
Yeah. He does say that he'll let you know when they come to some kind of resolution on this. All right. So Henri, do you want to take it? Did you want to purchase it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So he said he points to the keys, by the way, and he says that as soon as you guys are ready, um he can basically lead you upstairs. Um he explains that to get upstairs, by the way, you do have to go outside and you have to like go up the stairway here, and that's where the rooms are. So
Okay.
Yeah, it's no problem.
okay. All right.
Should we
Uh,
tell our
Did
new
you,
friends
you
that we're going? We're going?
Well, so Henri, as soon as you guys are like getting ready, this female dwarf comes through and she says, "Oh, I'm here, I'm here. Who wants something?" And she starts looking around at the group. He says, "Oh, new people." She said, come here, dear." And she's pointing at you, Henri, and she's asking if you want to buy some of her baked goods.
What are the flavors?
She says, "Oh," she says, "Look." She says, "Today I've got brambleberry, which is the purple one. She says she does have like an orange filling on the pie. She said the middle one is a custard, but she's also using some local herbs to make it more spicy. And then she actually says here actually, and she has one of the smaller ones that she takes out. It's got like a faint like licorice like flavor, but it's also vanilla. Um, and then she has what looks like a larger chocolate pie, and then she has a standard like apple pie.
I want the chocolate pie.
Yep. Yeah, she'll sell it to you for 20 silver.
Okay.
She did say too, if you folk do want dinner, just let me know. I can whip something up. So we have a stew going upstairs, and I can also get in some meat if you guys would like some.
Yes, please. Food, 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 food.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah, if you guys all take it, it's around 80 silver for the entire thing to feed everybody.
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been eating nothing but rations for weeks.
Yep. All right. Um, they so the key, just so you guys know, when you do get upstairs, the keys that he gave you are to this room up here, which is their largest room, and then you also get uh there's another room that he's gone through here. It looks like there's another floor to this as well, but in this room, it looks like it's like a workroom that's been converted. There is actually a bed in here. For some reason, it's bugged, but these are the two rooms. One is much larger than the other. Obviously, the bed is. Let's put it back in here. Um, maybe it's because of that. That's not the actual bed though. Hold on one second. There we go.
Is it this door?
It's probably gonna be bugged. That's fine. It's this door up here. Yep. Yeah, I'll open it for you. There you go. So these are the two rooms. There's a nice room and then a room that's not so nice. It's actually a converted workroom, but it's got a bed in it as well. It's this room here. Oh, weird. There you go.
Sweet. I thought this was the restaurant.
No, so that she did say she had to get it from upstairs,
Okay.
but no, it doesn't look like this is where the restaurant is.
Oh, so we're just barging into like somebody's like study.
Oh no. This is the rooms where you stay. That's what the key
Oh,
led
I
to.
thought I thought we was the rooms we stayed in were in the other building.
No. It's all in this building.
Okay.
Yep. It is all in this building. There is another building as well on the other side, like you can see, but no, this is it.
My detect magic would still be up, right? Nothing's popping up.
Yeah, it is. So far, nothing's popping up. Yep. Yep. So did you guys want to stay in your room for the night, or did you want to go back down, or what do you guys want to do?
Uh,
Chris, is there a temple to their gods in town? Do I remember there being one?
There is. There's that church, right? So the church is all the way on the other side over here.
Yeah. Once everyone's kind of settled into the room, Grin's just gonna tell him he's gonna walk over to the temple, and he'll be back.
All right, cool.
uh, does the adventurers ever come to a consensus?
So if you guys are all leaving, so if it once they see you to go through and start to leave, um, the guy Braven that was talking to you before is going to stop you right before. So, if that's happening now, then yeah, he'll be like, listen, he's like, look, we're going to be going into the mines later, and we could probably use some pickaxes like that. He said, can't we like come to some kind of like, I don't know, understanding or something? Like maybe we could like pay you to rent them.
How will that work after we've parted ways?
He said no, just come find. He's like, how many days are you staying here?
Probably a day.
He said, well, I mean, I guess we could rent them for a day. I'd much prefer to rent them for several days, as we're going to be in there for, at least a couple days, I would think. But he said, he said, you can trust us. We'll give you some money, and we'll go in there and come back.
So, like, what are you doing in the mines? I'm not going to help. Be competing. We have business elsewhere.
All right. And you guys are talking openly. You can also hear this, by the way. Peppity, what's your character's name?
Pepe.
Pepe?
Oh, Pepe. Pepe. Okay, Pepe. Okay. So they're not hiding it. You can hear all this as well. So,
Yeah,
um,
I actually wanted to exit the shop and wait near the stairs.
okay, cool. We'll do. I will put you out here. Um, all right. Cool. Okay. Um, all right. So he says, well, I mean, I'm sure we can like, I don't know. He says, I mean, I can give you. He's like, we can. I mean, whatever you want as collateral, I guess we could work out.
Well, what's the item in question? We'll start there.
He said, "What? No." He says, "Listen, we'll give you money to rent the pickaxes for a day, if you want." He said, "I tried to convince my friend. He's not budging. He's not giving you his item." So, um, but he said, I can try to convince you for a day to, to like, I don't know, like rent your stuff, and we'll pay you for it."
I look. Is Orion still here?
Is
I'll
Yeah,
kind of
he's
motion him to come over.
he'll sort of lumber over.
Braven, this is my friend Orion. Orion, this is Braven. He's interested in our pickaxes. Uh, so, what would you? We'll start with. Give me an offer.
He said, he said, listen, he said, we have around 10 gold that we can spare, but he said it's only for a day and we're not going to hurt anything. And tell you what, 10 gold and we'll trade you information, which is worth much more than the 10 gold.
Look, 10 gold's about a day in a city for us.
You could tell, make an insight check for me
Okay.
because he does have a complex reaction to this. So,
Natural one.
okay. All right.
At a 7.
So, oh, 7. Okay. So, you don't even pick up on this, and you kind of pick up on the fact that uh he thinks you got to be like you have to be fucking rich beyond you have to be wealthy beyond wealthy in order to say something like you spend 10 gold in a day. For some of these guys, 10 gold would be 5 months worth of stuff. But there is a more like complex, subtle thing that he's like driving down that you can't really perceive. But that's what you do get with your 7, Orion. You don't notice it at all. You're still like going through and talking. But he says, okay, but I get it. But like he's like, he's like, I might have valuable information. I just can't tell you what it is though until we have a deal.
Just looking over, we get that they're generally not exactly the most well-off group of people. Their gear is shoddy. What's the general sort of look on all the faces of this little group here?
They're all so that they've definitely all like lived on the road. They're and by the way, it's not that they're necessarily not wealthy. It's just this is pretty common. This is a pretty common amount of like money are going. So these guys are what you would consider, even you with your thing, you would consider these guys like in the middle class of things. Like they're just basically average in every capacity. When you do look over them, the fact that they have magic items means that they are above in meta terms, they're above level 1, probably below level 4 or 5. You'd be shocked if they were like level 5 from meta perspective. From an end game perspective, though, these guys have been adventuring for the majority of their life. So they would definitely be more seasoned than average groups. Keep in mind they're in the 30s. So I mean that these guys have tried really, really hard at being like an adventuring group and going through it. But you would understand that this is pretty much as good as it gets once you're coordinated and once the group really has something to strive for. You can also tell that they're not very varied in their job. Like they found a bunch of people that are kind of like themselves and have the same kinds of skill sets. They must have something that synergizes, but for the most part it's not like your group. They don't even seem to have a real like person that has any handle on magic or anything.
All right. So looking over the group, Ryan will look to Braven and just sort of size him up and down, just not like threateningly, but just sort of looking him over.
Yep.
And he'll just sort of lean on his staff and say, "Hey, not to sound impersonal, but what's your birthday, bud? What day were you born? What year?"
He said, he said, you want to know the year I was born? He said, is this, he looks you up and down and he oh wow. So he is making he so basically he looks you up and down and he goes through and he's trying to figure out why you are asking a question like that. Give me an opposing roll. He did an insight check on you.
I do just want to say, I do tell the dwarf woman, I believe you said, I would like to like order food.
Okay, perfect.
Just like I don't know how much that is.
Yeah, no. Sorry, I expected that you did say yes. So she's actually working on it now. She's already
Oh, okay.
disappeared though.
I thought
Yeah,
that
she's
her
working on
standing
all
there
that.
was
Yeah.
her like being. So does anybody? Nobody said anything. So
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even realize that she was there. So that's my bad. But I'll move her in a second.
okay.
Yep.
Just
No, but
wanted to
she
make
has gone up.
just want to
Yep.
make sure I was perfectly clear that yes, we are ordering food.
Yep. Yeah.
All
She's
right.
still here.
So what am I
I'll see
rolling
her.
to
Yep.
oppose?
You'll see it. Basically, you either if you want to, you can make a um uh God, why am I drawing a blank on this? You're just making a persuasion check essentially
All right. So I
because you
rolled
don't want to
the.
give up. Well, you don't want to give up why you're asking essentially. So you can do deception too if you want. You can do persuasion or deception,
I'll
assuming you
guide
don't want to give
myself.
up.
Um, it's a 8 on the persuasion.
Okay. All right. So he is going to be able to see through whatever you go through, and basically what he's trying to figure out. I got a 22, so I rolled a 19. So what he's trying to figure out is uh, why you want to know when he was born, and that there could be a number of different reasons why he wants to know. But and he just flat out tells you like, why do you want to know when I was born?
I just sort of look thoughtfully at him and says, "I come from a long line of very rare druids up north. We tend to look to the stars more than the earth, say, for magic and fate, and we specialize in a bit of divination. You look like a special fella and a special full of, bunch of people looking about they're coming on their way up to something better. I'd be willing to tax myself a little bit and consult the maps and see if anything lies in store for you."
As soon as Henri
Yep.
hears like the gist of the conversation, she's gonna run in because she wants to see whatever it is that Orion is doing.
Sure. And yeah, absolutely. And Ryan, is that true?
Yeah, it's absolutely true.
Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, so he says, okay, and what he reveals to you is that he's worried. He can see that you're some kind of powerful magic user. Now he knows you're a druid, if he believes you. And he's actually much more worried that you would be able to take his birthday and do some kind of spell that would charm him or make him do something that he wouldn't want to do. And he tells you this straight out. He's like, if I can have, he's like, I don't know how to, have your assurances on this, but he said I was, and he thinks it over. He says, well, he says I was Was born on the 14th of Myrtle, 1460.
Let's see. All right, then let's consult the maps here, and he's gonna sort of put himself in the center of the room where he's got the most ceiling coverage.
Yep.
And he's going to pull out his staff and sort of dust it off and blow it off a little bit. And he says, "Okay, come forwards, and you can close your eyes, you can keep them open. Just try to slow your breathing down, feel a little bit of calm, and relax, and we'll see what the stars say."
Yep.
And once he steps forward a little bit, he's going to breathe slowly into the crystal at the head of his staff and increasing the stream of it until the entire map of the entire solar system is projecting from his crystal and his staff onto the ceiling of the shop.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. And what are you casting, by the way?
I'm not casting anything.
Okay. Are you doing? Oh, I got you. Is this because there's like light going through it?
Yeah, there's light going through it. When I activate the star map, it actually projects through the crystal onto a surface.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. That's cool. Yep. Yep. Perfect. Yeah, so I mean, they all kind of get taken aback by this. The shop owner is also like kind of like bewildered by all of this. Um, he's he's clearly like, they're all kind of half terrified, but mostly engaged in what's going on. And he says, what does it say?
All right, now I want you to think very carefully on a question that you're most concerned about in your endeavors ahead. And I can only open this window for a very short amount of time, and it'll take my focus to hold it. So I need you to ask that question to the stars.
He sighs and he looks back to the group and he goes through and he says tomorrow. Uh, he says, tomorrow we're going to find what we're looking for?
And Orion will close his eyes for a moment and pass through. And see here for his answer. I'm just going to roll a d20 and see what it comes through. If it's 1 to 10, it's yes. If it's 11 to
Yeah,
20,
that's
it's
fine.
no.
Okay. Yeah, so that's a no.
Yeah, so he'll just sort of hold it down. He says, and it's just sort of going to squint. He says, I might exercise a little bit of caution because if you go with your current train of thought, it's not going to go well for you.
Okay, you can see these guys kind of grumble amongst themselves. Um, and he goes back and he says, "See?" He says, "Without these axes, we're gonna fail anyway." He says, "But friend, like I said, I'm willing to give you the money. It's a lot of money. I know maybe not to you, but to us, it's a lot of money. Uh, I mean, if your answer is no, we'll respect that, obviously. But I do have information I can trade with you."
And as he closes off the crystal and turns the star map off, he's like, if you're already thinking that you're not going to have the pickaxes, then that answer will still stand. But the pickaxes might actually change that. Fate is not concrete, my friend.
Yep. He does look at you and he's like, he uh he says, "But that's what I mean. Like, I really don't have any more money."
Well, I'll tell you what, how much do you have?
He said 10 gold. He said, "We have a little more, but we need that for food and provisions."
And I just sort of look back at the guy they were all trying to persuade
Yeah.
and just sort of give him a sage nod. Say, well, you gotta do what's best for the group, and well, if you're all unified in that, we won't chase you more harder than that.
But
Yep.
yes, I will respect your decision, and as like a little token of my thanks for just kind of talking to us from one adventure to another. Let me do you a little favor. And she just kind of raises her hands very carefully, and I just want to cast mending on the guy with the patched up jacket.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's cool. Yep. Yeah, so you basically fix his jacket for him. Yep.
We've been doing this a long time, so forgive us being a little bit jaded.
Yeah, you walk over. So Kino, to do mending, I think it's touch anyway. So you walk over. You're gonna have to
If
touch
he
his.
seems
Yeah.
jumpy, I will reach down to part of my dress where it's a little frayed and just kind of run my hand over it, and the fabric will be new.
Yep.
Just to show him it's all right.
Yep. Yeah, and you guys do see like he's worried, but you see Kino basically run through her fingers on the parts of his jacket that have been basically like sliced open. As you notice, it looks like he must have actually been hit there too, because you can tell that there's actually like bits of blood and other thing that you can see going through it. But sure enough, you do run your fingers through it, and it completely seals up all of those like courses through the leather and other things, and then it looks actually new and better than the rest of the jacket that looks like it's dirty and a little grungy and some other stuff. But yeah, you are able to fix it.
All right. And well, thank you. Are you hurt?
He said it's a I could manage. He said a little.
Cholesterol's a little high.
I'm just, while my hand is still on him, I, knowing this doesn't really have a visual aspect to it, I'm just going to give him 5 points of lay on hands.
Okay. Yeah, he reacts to that immediately, by the way, and he's like, oh, he's like, he said, wow. He said, you are. He said, what is that? How did you do that? And he like moves his shoulder around, and you can tell that that's where the damage was. And he's like, oh, this is so much better. He's like, why can't one of you do that? And he's like, what is that?
You will all in due time. The important part is you all stick together.
Yeah, he goes through, and he is like he is definitely thankful for this. And Kino, you have already made the decision that you are not selling him the information in the 10 gold, correct? That's what you were trying
Yeah.
to say. Okay, cool. Yep. Yeah, he looks back, and they start talking, and then Braven like waves to you guys and says, "Well, I'm sorry it didn't work out, but thanks. This was neat nonetheless." And he looks over at you, your character, John.
Good luck in the mines.
Good luck. Be careful.
Yep. Yeah, so at this point, the dwarf woman comes back, and she goes to find everyone in their rooms. Obviously Henri's not there, but she does go and start basically putting the food up in the different rooms, and she sets the majority of the food up in the main room over here. So let me bring that up. So all your food is going to be in the main room here when you guys get back in. And as you guys walk out too, Grin, are you outside as well?
Yeah, he's been just kind of standing outside, getting the fresh air, just enjoying
Yeah.
being home.
Then you notice that the grung has started to walk up here too, and then sits like outside.
He gives him like one of those nods of greeting. He has no idea if this thing even speaks.
Yep. Yep.
He does not buck.
Yep. Yeah. So he nods back. Um, and Honor, you can start to smell the food going like you can now smell that there must be like food setting in because the store is open. She's come through. She starts to basically get on the stairs to look for everyone. And she says, oh, she says your food's ready, your food's ready up in your rooms.
Ooh, they even bring it up to the rooms for you?
She
So
did.
Henri like was clapping at the end of Orion's little like star display. As soon as she hears food, she's like, "Come on, guys, let's go!" And she'll like run up the stairs.
Oh, this is so nice.
You notice that too. As you get out, you notice that the grung is now out here.
Hello, goodbye.
Going through. Yep.
I just
Uh,
kind
You
of nod.
notice.
Can I actually stop them and like talk to them finally?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I'd say, hello, comrades. Can I interest you in a little adventure in the mines?
Adventure?
Yes, adventure.
What's going on in the mines?
Yeah, we heard.
Lots of stuff, actually, but more important is there are a lot of treasures.
A lot of.
Treasures.
Oh. Um. Are you going for anything in particular?
There are two big relics, actually, and I need one of them, but you can take the other.
Might I ask what they are?
You can go with me and find out.
I just kind of look. I kind of like crouch down a little bit. Also,
That's not how you talk to short people, Kino.
Yep.
Kino's never gonna learn this. So Kino is a little over 6 foot, standard, Neverwinter plate, platinum blonde hair, uh, curly. She has a like glowing purple halo around kind of eyebrow height, sitting around her head, giving off this immense purple glow. That is kind of reflected in her eyes, making it look like her eyes also glow. Really fancy sword, fancy purple cape, kind of dress that hangs down over her waist and goes down to her boots. Um, we're not staying in town for long. I would be interested in passing back through the uh, the mines at a later date, but we actually have very pressing matters elsewhere.
It won't take long, my friend.
Unfortunately, it's very dire. I wish I could explain to you
Oh, I want
how.
to go in the mines.
I also want to go in the mines, but we're
How
meeting a
long will
very
it take?
Maybe a day, half a day. It all depends on you.
From our experience, nothing ever takes as long as you think. Usually takes quite a bit longer.
Gross.
What is in the mines that you need our aid with?
A relic. He said there's some
No, I
kind
mean like
Oh.
is there something dangerous in the mines that you need us to fight? Do you need us to help you carry these relics out because they're too heavy?
This is the private information that you know. You know that the mines are definitely dangerous because you have actually seen 3 or 4 groups already go in. You've been biding your time. You thought about maybe going with the 4 that were going in as well, but you personally know of 2, 3 groups that have not even come back. And as a matter of fact, there seems to be a steady increase in adventurers trying to get to these mines as rumors and other things have started to like surface that the items that you're looking for really are actually there.
It's very safe, my friend. I promise.
Do I believe him?
Insight check, yeah. Just insight check.
16.
Yep, you always oppose. So,
22.
yep, deception or you roll deception or persuasion.
How do I actually roll it?
Just
So
click on
what?
the modifier.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in D&D Beyond, if you click on the modifier, it'll roll for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
under skills.
19. That's pretty good. So, um, the only one that picks up on that there's more to this is, I believe, John's character. So, just describe to John basically kind of what you're hiding. obviously you're hiding the fact that you know a certain information, but just explain what he's able to see through because he did beat your roll.
I mean, I'm not actually hiding because I believe it's very safe.
Oh, right. But you do know that there have been three groups that have not come out, I guess. So, like, how would you perceive that? Like, what is the stuff that you're holding back there, like from your character side?
I mean, I am confident and yeah.
I mean, John, I guess which that's fine. What you would notice is that he believes the group can handle this, but there's also more to the story, obviously, and you would get the impression that there is going to be things to fight.
Yeah, Ryan would just sort of look to Kino and just very quietly shake his head.
What did you say your name was, sir?
Pepe.
Well, it's nice to meet you. Um, why don't are you staying in town for the night?
Yes.
Why don't we revisit this matter in the morning?
Suit yourself.
Thank you. It'll just give me a chance for all of my friends to talk it over. But it was
And
very
Pepe, I don't know if your character remembers the exact nature of the two artifacts. If you don't remember and you want me to recant them to you, I can. It's up to you, though.
yeah. I did ask about the artifacts before.
Yeah. If you don't
I,
want to tell them, you don't have to. By the way.
I mean, I can't remember, but uh, I think it's not that important.
Well, they must be important enough to go into the mine for. Otherwise, why put the effort forth?
Adventure.
Yeah, and I just have to ask again because you didn't really answer my question. Why is it exactly that you need our help if the mines are perfectly safe?
There's
Well, they might be not perfectly safe, and you know, who knows what's inside.
there's adventure everywhere you go, friend, and our adventure is on the road.
You can come with us.
Can I?
Ryan
Kino
will just start walking upstairs.
Kino's head just swivels over to Henri. Like you asked, can we keep him? And Kino just looks over at her with just the weight of everything that's been happening over the last few months. We'll talk about it again in the morning. Pepe.
Pepe.
Okay.
Um, you staying here?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we'll meet over breakfast. How about that?
Sounds good.
All right. So Pepe, you're actually in the top room up here. There is, by the way, and this thing bugged out too. This is not the most well-kept room, but there is actually a barrel with water in it for you that they brought up, and there's a bed in here as well. That's for some reason not here, but it's in the top
Nice.
there. Yep. All right. So you guys go up to your room and start to eat. Pepe, you can go up to your room as well. And like pass for the night and go through it. Is there anything you guys wanted to do tonight?
Yeah, like I said, when everyone goes upstairs, I'm going to tell them I'm going to head over to the temple,
Yep.
and I'll be back before they go to sleep.
Okay. All right. All right. So we can do that real quick, Ren. So let me grab your miniature. So you start walking over, and everything is how you remember it. Until you get to around here, uh, certainly like it's been this area has been cleared out a little bit. There's been like trees cut down and other things going through. You see giant mechanical machines that you've never seen before ever. You have no idea what these small outcrops are. along with these crops. This is all very new to you. And then as you start getting over to this area, you notice there's more of these like mechanical things. You have no idea what these are either, but they're coming through. And as you start to walk over in this area here, you see the familiar sights of the ruins, and then you see the church, which has certainly been rebuilt a bit and like refortified. Um, Off into the distance, as you get closer, you also notice that there are people on the outside, either guarding it or walking through. Um, but there are like people in like robes and stuff. You can see them all the way from where you are, on the top there. Um, so as you get to around here, you go up and climb up the stairs that you're familiar with and go through this area. There's a guy that's up front. He has darker skin. He has purple robes on. And then underneath his robes, you can also see that he's wearing some kind of like leather protection. He does have a staff with a circle in it. Um, and he says, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." He said, "I don't remember seeing you here. Name?"
My name's Grin. Uh, I don't remember what god does this temple serve now? I mean, I don't remember it. I remember it being Iron Hand and Steel Skin.
Glimmer shine.
Yep. He says, he says, when was the last time you were in town, friend?
About 10 years ago.
He said, well, he said, to be honest, the church is actually set up as a base now. Uh, he said, and he says, I'd have to get clearance to kind of have a real discussion with you about these things, but what's your business around this area?
You set up a base in the gnome's church? Did they let you do that?
He said, of course. He said, I mean, by all means, talk to the local government, but yes. And he said, we have, kind of important matters here too. And he like hints over and points to the giant sword that's basically stuck in the ground that's got like fire and like lava around it.
Yeah, what's the deal with that thing?
He said, I wish I could tell you, friend.
So this isn't like a church anymore? You're just like living here?
He said, no, it's a church. It's just that we have commandeered this space for now.
So who's the church for?
He said, so he said, friend, I can really have a discussion with you, but you're gonna have to clear this. It's above what I'm doing here. So
You can't even tell me which deity you serve? That's kind of suspicious.
he said, he goes through and he looks at you. His eyes kind of narrow a little bit. He said, what do you mean suspicious?
Well, usually if you gotta hide which deity you serve, that means it's one that people don't like hearing.
He said, it's nothing like that.
Like if you were like, I don't know, like a paladin of Tiamat or something.
He said, no. He said, are you kidding? He said, no. He said, it's nothing like that. It's nothing. We're not here worshiping any kind of abomination.
Well, that's good, I guess. Who do I need to get clearance from to, I don't know anything about this place?
He said, well, he said, listen. He said, I'm trying to do you a favor right now. He said, you can just walk in. I mean, I can't stop you from this. You can walk into the church and demand answers, but I don't think it's going to go well for you. Otherwise, I would try take your rest. If you're really an inhabitant of this town, he said, which I doubt. He said, however, if that's the truth, go to the mayor in the morning and see if you can get a formal meeting, and then I'm sure someone can talk with you.
All right, look, I don't really want to cause trouble with whoever you guys are. I was just looking for, I just wanted to come pray. Do you know if they moved the church, like the
He said,
real
there is.
one?
He said, yep. He said, there is a new church. He said, it's down in the town proper somewhere. I don't go down there often, but he said, I'm sure if you talk to the locals, they can point you out to where that's at. He said he said also he said, friend, you understand why this was a this was like a gnome village, right?
Yeah, I know that. I grew up here.
He says and you know why I would find that hard to believe?
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
but I'm not lying to you.
He says, okay. Well, he says, look, I would just try to stay out of our way. We're not here to hurt anything. We're actually here to help, but just be careful.
Is that a threat?
He said, no, I'm trying to give you advice. And you can insight check him if you want. I mean, that's a complicated thing, so go ahead and insight check him.
I
To
might
see
as
if he,
well.
yeah, to see if he's actually threatening you in like some veiled manner.
15.
He is. Is it 15 with no modifier?
Just straight 15, yeah.
Okay. You get the impression that he's so he's not attempting to intimidate you, he's attempting to persuade you to leave it alone.
Yeah, I mean, Grin really just literally wanted just to come pray to the gnome gods, so
Oh
he's
no, I
not.
know. Yeah, I know.
He's
You
not.
can tell there's a much more complex situation going on even from this, and clearly they have taken over this area, and it does look like there's like some serious shit going down with the sword and other things. Um, that said, right now, for all you know, these guys could be evil cultists as much as they could be a group of people that are really coming through, and they just have complicated business here. You're not sure.
He has like a moment of this guy's threatening me. Does he like have any idea what I've been through? Can he not see that I could rip him in half with my bare hands? And then he's like, wait, if they've cleared whatever they're doing with the government here and I roll in and start killing them, I'm just going to get thrown out again. And this time they won't let me come back. And he's just like, all right, can you just point me in the direction of where the gnome church is, the real church?
Yeah, he does. He says it's down in the town proper somewhere, and he points over in this direction here. And he says, I don't even know if it's exactly down there, but go look and talk to people. You'll find it.
Fine. And he's just going to leave.
Okay.
And head in
All
that
right.
direction.
What's your passive perception, Grim?
Oh, it's not good. 14. That's not actually terrible.
Yeah. So as you walk down and you go through this area here, the one thing that you do notice is that there's small flashes of heat and fire, maybe something else coming through this area, and as they go through, you see there are just a more than you expected soldiers posted all around this area here, and they're all working and doing other things, but this area here is kind of like busy, and it's at least 30, maybe 40. You can't obviously see within the cavern itself, but it is he wasn't lying. They're doing something in this area. There's a lot of stuff going on over here.
Do the soldiers look human?
From where you're standing, they look human-ish. Yes, they look like you can't actually tell if they're elves or whatever, but they look human so far.
But at least human sized, not
That's
gnome
right. They're
sized.
they're definitely human-sized. These are all
Um,
humans.
Fucking
Yeah.
elves.
is the
Yep.
guy who I just talked to watching me leave?
Yeah, he is. He is watching you leave. Yeah.
Does he notice me looking over there?
Nope.
Okay.
He's made no kind of indication that he's stopping you or whatever. But you're still walking too. You're still walking over in this area to go through it. You haven't stopped or anything, um, but there's certainly a lot of shit going down over here. So.
Oh man, I'm not really a sneak. I don't have any kind. I have disadvantage on stealth. Do I see any kind of way that I could?
One of the things you do see that you've never noticed before is as you start walking, there are also two statues that you do not recognize or remember that look like they're part of ruins that would have been here for a long time. It's possible they've excavated this area. Do a religion check on both statues as you walk.
Boy, if only brother were here. Good old 5.
Yeah, so you don't not only do you not recognize them, but the statues themselves have also seen some damage. So it's incredibly hard to make out anyway what they actually are. Um, but you do notice that the fire that is basically set up near these statues is glowing every single color in the rainbow. That's not obviously normal.
Is there any kind of plaque or a name on these statues?
So sure, if you want to walk over, do a real perception
Yeah.
check, and then do a perception check first, and then give me an investigation check of the whole area. Are are you trying to do this? Are you? I guess you're just doing it, so that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just gonna like casual, like, oh, what is
Yeah.
this? I rolled an 18 on perception.
Yep.
Oh, and a 19 for investigation.
Okay, cool. So you do notice that there is underneath the rubble of these rocks, there is actually a plaque. The plaque is glowing, but unfortunately because of the rocks underneath it, like on top of it or whatever, you can't actually see the name without literally like going under and looking. Strangely, this plaque is also glowing too, and sure enough, if you start to look at the the ruins or whatever, this doesn't look like with your high perception ranking, this was not something that happened naturally. There's no way both of these fell in just to hide the plaques. This was done on purpose. It looks like the plaques must have something to do with the statues themselves.
Can the guy still see me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, as a matter of fact, he is. So this is the other thing you notice with your 19. He has started to come down, and he's basically obviously like noticed this, and he started to come down and go through it. However, with the investigation check, you do know that if you were to climb down further enough underneath, you're strong enough that you could actually lift the ruins and read the plaques. You're definitely strong enough that you could do this. But as that's happening, he's coming down. You have a round or two, so before he's on top of you.
I'm not. I'm gonna watch him approach.
Are you going to do anything else though, or are you just going to leave these alone?
Um,
It's up to you. This is all happening at once, though, so keep in mind. Whatever your decision is, we're going with it. But he's walking down.
I'm gonna. Okay. I'm going to try and uncover one of the plaques, but I'm gonna do
Okay.
it like real casual, like I don't know
You can
that
do it
what
with.
I'm doing could be a problem. You
That's
know,
totally.
it's
That's
like, oh, what
totally.
is this? Oh, let
You
me
can.
just look at
You've
this.
already done the investigation checks. You're already investigating around. As you do that, you're actually strong. You don't have to make a roll. You're strong enough to lift those through, and you get it first. So there is a glowing plaque, and it's all in like prismatic, like lettering, and it's clear as day. Both of the this plaque here presumably says what the other plaque does because the statues you notice are identical. They just have damage on them in different places. However, of course, to know that for 100% certainty, you'd have to go and look at the other one. But very clear as day, you see the word Mistra.
Okay, that word means nothing to Grin.
Yep. So as you're going through this, he gets to here, and he says, "Sorry, he's actually up on top." He said, "He says, excuse me. I thought we discussed that you would be going back to the church.
Yeah, I'm on my way.
So you find anything interesting down there?"
Well, I mean, what's your definition of interesting?
He says, "Why are you rooting through the statues? I told you this area is," and then he starts to like falter. He's like, "I also told you I can't really discuss things with you."
Well, I didn't ask you any questions. You're asking me questions.
He says, "But you're rifling
If you if
through
you
the statues." Or
if you don't want to talk to me, you should go back to where you were standing. You walk up to me.
no, he says, listen. It is my job to make sure that no one starts rifling through things and gets in the way here. I was
Well,
trying to be nice."
you should be standing further away from the building if you meant like everything around the building. I thought it was just in the building. That's where you were standing. If you're gonna guard an area, you're supposed to stand on the outside of the area, not in the middle of it.
I'll let you roll that with advantage, but go ahead and do go ahead and do a deception check just to make sure that you can come across like you're just being kind of like.
Can I use intimidation instead?
You can, but it's a whole different thing. If you really want to try to intimidate him, so the way that this works is that if you're persuading him you're an idiot, in certain cases that can be better than a high intimidation roll. If you're intimidating him, you're still intimidating him.
I mean,
So here's the thing: you can successfully intimidate someone and make the situation worse, is what I'm saying.
that's fair.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say Grin is an idiot, so it wouldn't be.
Yeah. No, if that's what you would do, if you're saying that what I would do is intimidate him, then that's what you should do. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to Grin, it would be okay. This guy's standing guard in this area, so everything that he didn't let me cross is out of line. But this was like 50 feet away from him, so he's.
No, well then you could totally be an idiot and just be, this he could totally he could in this case he could perceive you as just being a moron if you're just being honest. But if you want to intimidate him, let me know, and then you can roll intimidation.
I am gonna roll intimidation.
Okay. Yep, go for it.
That's gonna be a 20.
Yeah. So you said all of that, but it's clear you're getting angry. Do you want to say anything else?
Yeah, just like, look, guy, I'm leaving. You know, I get you don't want to talk to me. You got your secrets or whatever. Then just leave me alone. I'm leaving. I just saw something shiny and I wanted to see what it was.
All right. You can tell he's taken aback and does see you as a threat. And basically he gets he holds his staff. The staff itself does start to glow a bit on the outside as if he's like readying things. He's not casting at you or anything, but he's readying something up. He says, "Yeah, we'll see."
We'll see
But
what.
you tell that he is successfully you have successfully like scared him, and he is absolutely intimidated by you. He doesn't say anything. He's holding something.
Grin's gonna just put the Brock back, like where he found it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, all right, if you're good, I'm heading over to the temple. Like, it's again,
Right.
if you're supposed to be guarding an area, just pro tip, you should be on the perimeter of the area that you're guarding, not like way in the center of it. Because I'm sorry, I got confused as to what you were guarding.
Are you saying that and walking back, like away, or are you saying that just like here?
He's kind of just saying it and walking away, kind of flippantly.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you can tell he's watching. Is there anything else you want to do while you walk away?
Nah, he's just getting out of there.
Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, he doesn't do. He's just. You can feel his gaze on the back of your neck as you start walking. This guy's watching you like a hawk. And soon, like you get back to this area here and you go through it. Did you want to try to look for that church, or did you want
Yeah,
to go back?
no, he definitely does still want to find the gnome church.
All right. As you go through the streets and start walking through it, first and foremost, most people now are asleep, and going through things. As you start walking in this general area, as you go through things here, you actually do not find anything outwardly that looks like a church. But go ahead and give me an investigation check with the city, since obviously you want to find this thing.
19.
All right. So after an hour or so, you finally are able to pinpoint the fact that yes, it does look like one of the buildings has turned into like a makeshift church. First, you go through the entire area, like you can't figure this out. You don't even know if he's been lying to you. You kind of get upset thinking he might have been. Then, sure enough, as you start like walking through all of it and figuring it out, you realize that there is a holy symbol set up in this very small building over in this area here. The reason why you didn't see it first is because there's like a gate that you need to go through, and I just on a chance you like carefully went through this gate or whatever. But yeah, it's all the way over here, and sure enough, it looks like they're using this building as the makeshift church for now.
He's gonna go right in because
Yep.
to him the temple was always open. That's why he was
Yeah, yeah.
so
Yep.
perturbed.
Yeah, exactly. So you're able to go in. Here, let me. There's like animals in here and stuff. But
He
as you go
ducks
in,
under the door. You know, he's like
yep.
kind
This
of.
is gnome sized, by the way. This whole building is gnome sized too.
Yeah, he's
Um,
he's very at home in that kind of thing.
Yep. So as you get into here, you notice that it's pretty much a bare building, although there is a statue. I just lost your miniature. There is a statue of the um so as you walk in, there's actually a statue. This is the same statue that they used in the original church, by the way, of God. Why is the name slipping me? The original god that was in the church, Grin, that you would recognize. Um,
Either Iron Hand or Steel Skin or both.
It's well, let's say that it's Iron Hand. So so you see that there's a statue of Iron Hand here. You can tell there's some places where they've like put things in, but for the most part, this is kind of like an insult to you. Like it's obviously they're not. I mean, it doesn't look like this can even fit a bunch of people in it. So you're really surprised, but it's there. And yeah, I mean, you can go through and pray if you want to.
There's no like priest there?
No, no one's here right
Nothing
now.
like that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty disappointed.
Yep.
But he is going to, kneel at the statue.
Yep.
And just give a quick prayer to Iron Hand.
Yep.
He's never been good at it. He was never really a religious person, but it's been rough lately. So he's just like, Iron Hand, help me and the rest of my party get back to brother, and just help me protect everyone, if you could. Thanks? Question mark.
Yeah. So as you leave the church, you're walking back. You see kind of like as you walk back, the first thing that hits you is a really familiar smell. The smell is of not only like brambleberry, but it's also the same smell that comes from like pipe tobacco smoke. And there's also like a sweet smell that you've never been able to recognize before. And this immediately hits you as a really, really familiar scent. And you're trying to like rack your brain. And then sure enough, um, a man like says, "Hey, Grin, is that you?" And it looks so it's a gnome that's walked up, that's kind of like basically jumping up and down on like to basically peer over the fence there. And this is somebody that you knew from your childhood. His name is Dinkerin. That's Dinkern. Sorry, Rin. And Dinkerin is someone that you've known for a while. You have not spoken to him since the incident. And he's like, "Hey, people said you came back. I can't believe it. Holy crap! How are you doing?"
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. I've been out on the road. What's the deal with the church here?
He said, "Yeah." He said, no one like really believes in the old ways anymore. I mean, not to make you feel bad, but like there were a lot of people that kind of left that Iron Hand after what happened. Like when moms lose their kids and stuff. Well, tends to happen. But he's like, "Hey, man, I never blamed you, and I'm super super happy to see you're doing well. Can you believe what's happened here?"
Uh, yeah. What the hell's going? Like, what are all these pipes coming out of the ground and shit? And what's the fucking sword? And who
Yeah,
are those weirdos in the old church?
he said, "Yeah." He said, "That's the Zen." And he said, to be honest, they came around like 6 7 years ago, and they've never left, and they kind of just stay here. It's kind of really annoying. But as soon as so maybe I don't know, 3 years ago, maybe a little earlier than that, that giant sword came out of the sky and just kind of like stuck itself in here. We had some people. Oh, Grin, we had some people come from Neverwinter. Have you been to Neverwinter yet?
Yeah, who came from Neverwinter?
He said people from the Lord's Alliance. He said it was crazy. Like we had all like there were some people from Waterdeep, Neverwinter. There were some people from places that I had never even heard of. Yeah, I mean it was a big deal. anyway, these guys have been here. Oh, you know what else? He's like, we got to see people that could do real magic. They came here with these guys. I mean, some of them can do real magic too, or so we're told, but they don't show anybody in town how powerful they are or anything. As a matter of fact, it's kind of just understood that we don't really mess with them. They made some deal with Larry Hander. So as he says that name, you remember Larry Hander was the mayor of the village when you were here. And he says, I think honestly, I think it was some, government corruption or something, because sure enough, as soon as he let them in, another mayor was mysteriously elected in town, and he said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you too. That's how we do things now. It's not just the family that founded the town. People get to decide who their mayor is." He said it's strange, but it's worked for us. But anyway, um, so once Larry left, and by the way, he like left. Like I've not seen him back here. We were all kind of told rumors though that he has some really fancy house in Waterdeep. So imagine that. But anyway, uh, once he left and this new guy got in place, these guys have been here ever since. And yeah, I mean, I guess the town's gotten better. I mean, we certainly have more people come in now, and like, but nothing's like it was. And also now we have people coming all over to get into the mines. Like we finally got those up, and then nobody can mine anymore after the other incident, not yours, the other one. And and now things have just been like weird. But like, what have you been up to?
Wait, hold on, back up. Who? There's a new mayor that's not a Lanary anymore. Who is the new
Yeah.
mayor? Still a gnome?
So that's the crazy thing, right? No, he's not even a gnome. Like, how can we have someone lead the town? Now, granted, I will tell you this: since the new mayor's been around, a lot of good things have happened, and as a matter of fact, he's the reason why the mines are rebuilt. So, I mean, as you can imagine, that was like the livelihood of a bunch of people, and like, a bunch of people died and their family died and stuff. So kind of rebuilding the mind is kind of why I guess he was able to stay. I mean, he gets voted in every couple years and it's like completely unanimous. But the weird thing is that like yeah, with all things the good things that have happened and everything, well, first it's people don't even, like I said, people don't even worship the gods that we used to worship, and there's so many like outsiders now in town and everything. I don't know, man. It was so much better before the incident, but not that that's your fault or anything. He kind of looks a little nervous saying that.
Yeah. What's this new mayor's name?
He said the new mayor's name is Hardkip, and it's like Nathan Hardkip, I think, but most people call him by his last name. And yeah, you'll have to. I kind of stay away from him, to be honest. I don't trust that guy. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being paranoid or something. But yeah. Oh, by the way, don't go up and talk to the Zen. They're giant douchebags. They just scare you and tell you they're gonna like send you to jail. The Lord's Alliance are gonna come, or hey, you know what? They even threatened to disintegrate. Oh gosh. That guy's name. You remember Linzer? Like he left, but he went and broke into the church once, and they literally told him that they were going to disintegrate him.
They Crin's just like rubbing his temple. Yeah, I did go up there because I was looking for the church, the real church, and
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't go so well, huh?
they just told me to go away, and they didn't seem that tough. Um, hey, do you know what Mistra means?
He said, "Well, I mean," he said, "I think I do. Hold on, let me see." And he starts like to go back in his memories and go through. He's like, "Uh, yeah, I think Mistra's the Oh, Mistress that she's like a giant like lizard queen. She's like the lizard queen of like the place underneath where we live. The the what's it called? The Undertunnel. She's the lizard queen of the Undertunnel, I'm pretty sure.
That can't be right.
I think that's right.
Chris, I'm dying.
Anyway, he said. So how long are you guys staying in town?
Probably just the night. We have to go find someone and prevent like a dragon apocalypse or something. I don't know.
He said a dragon apocalypse. He said what? He said, man, things have gotten way better for you, huh?
I guess that's one way to put it.
He said, well, if you want to come by tomorrow or something, sure, you can. I still live in the same place. And he said, also, you know, honestly, maybe you can maybe you can come back and like deal with like, the new mine problem. And maybe that would like, I don't know, like make all the people that like hate you not hate you.
Well, wouldn't that be nice? I'd like to like. Are there? Okay, I know you just said that there's no more people who believe in the old church or whatever, but
Yeah.
there must still be some clerics or something for.
Oh yeah, he said the priest is still around. He said it's the old priest is still around. He
Do you?
said, I mean, to be honest, I haven't talked to him in a while, but he's definitely still up in the north somewhere, and he gives you a general direction of where this priest would be, and you know what, Grin, you would remember where he lives anyway, so since it was important to you, so I'll show you where he's at. Yeah, it's not exactly that late, guys. By the way, it's only like 10, 11 o'clock at this point. It is pretty late though. But yeah, but he says, yeah, but listen, he said, Just come by tomorrow and go through things. I still got a lot of work that I have to do, myself. But he's like, I can talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be good. I'm staying at the big inn over there, the one
Oh
that
yeah,
is
the
like human
Windvale.
sized.
Yeah, that's a nice place.
Yeah, it's so weird to see like big buildings.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Yeah, all right. I better get back to my party.
He said, all right, okay.
So I'll try and come see you before we leave.
Yep. And he walks past over here, out of sight. Um, and Grant, as you make your way back, you notice that at this point it is incredibly late. Um, I mean, the nice thing as you start walking back though is this feels pretty good. Like every single hit, like even like the crisp night air, everything is like pure nostalgia for you. It's the very first time that you actually feel kind of like at ease. And even though things are not great being back, and obviously not everyone's like coming up and welcoming you as a hero or whatever, it's certainly not as bad as you expected it to be. So that's been comforting so far. So. But yeah, guys. So at this point, is there anything else that anyone wants to do for the night?
Yes. After we kind of split all the food that we got, I'm going to burn a second level slot. And if we are either splitting up for the night in two different rooms, or if we're just all staying in one room, I'm going to summon a large, black as night mastiff with
Gross.
faint purple eyes. Just that I'm going to have kind of curl up in the center of the room, and I'm just going to explain telepathically that
Yep.
tries to get into the room that isn't from my party. I
Yep.
want you to bark like hell, wake us up, and attack them.
Sure. Yeah, that can be done. That is one of the nicer things about Fine Steed. So, yep. So, yeah. So outside of that, anybody else want to do anything until the morning?
Well, as soon as Grin gets back, he'd like to like relay some of this information
Yeah,
to
of
them.
course, of course. So what do you want to tell them?
Everything that he found out about the old church and this new group that's there. Just the guy was real secretive, and then there was a bunch of people hanging out around the big sword. And then I don't know. I saw some statue, and it had this shiny nameplate that said Mister on it, and I didn't know what that meant.
So Henri, you know who Mister is, but Henri,
And
do me a favor and make 2 checks, a religion and a history check.
and
As
some
he says this. Yeah.
I ran
Can
into
I
a
aid
friend of
her?
mine. I ran into a friend of mine. He said it was a lizard queen who lived underground, and I don't think that's right.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you can aid him too. You can aid him on that.
There's a lizard queen that lives underground?
Wait, am I being aided on the religion check or the history check?
Both of them is fine. You
Okay.
can have an advantage on both. With you talking to Kino back and forth, because Kino would have an indication of what Mr. was too. You guys can start basically putting your information together, and you can do it with advantage on both.
Okay. 19 for religion.
Yep. Well, the first things you know, first and foremost, is that Mr. doesn't have statues of herself. It's incredibly rare, which means that this was, for whatever reason, an incredibly important area to Mistra and her followers. Mistra goes out of her way and has for the past 2,000 years now to basically only put her visage in churches that are like large. She would never have any kind of worship or statue or anything depicting herself out in a town like this. That would be completely rare, unheard of, which means that there must be something incredibly important here, first and foremost. What about the history check?
25.
So the thing that you do like vaguely remember is that sometimes within Mistra has set up basically these hidden locations that are basically pockets of like civilization where her avatars would have been at one point reborn or branded or kept as like a safe house, which means that some of Mistra's own personal powerful artifacts would have been somewhere within those vicinities, which means that somewhere in this town is one, if not several, incredibly powerful ancient artifacts that were created for the avatars of Mistra. That's the only explanation that you can have with any kind of like statue with Mistra. Grin starts to tell you that, oh, there were rocks put on the thing or whatever. And suddenly you also start to get the understanding of why they would need to do something like that. First and foremost, those statues cannot be glamored or set up with any kind of illusion. You can't hide them, for instance. The basically, when the avatar of Mistra at the time was alive, they would basically at will be able to basically turn them invisible or not once the avatar's been killed, which is the case in this case. There hasn't been an avatar of Mistra for 1,300 years. And certainly not after the spell plague. So once the avatar is killed, those statues are going to be up forever. They can be destroyed, but it takes something incredibly powerful to just damage them or whatever. And since they can't be glamored or illusion, I guess the best thing they decided to do was take solid rock and put them like heavy rocks and put them over the plaque so that they could like hide them. Obviously, that means this organization knows very well that there are powerful artifacts of Mistra within this town. And so that makes more sense now. And this is putting two and two together.
Well, good news and bad news. The good news is there's definitely something in the mines. The bad news is it might be really, 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 really bad if those people find that stuff. Because it seems like the stuff that might be either in the mines or nearby is really, really, really strong.
Grin's just like, he's troubled. And he's like, can we look? I know we're on a time crunch here, but I think we have to go down into the mine. If you guys don't want to, you can go ahead of me, and I can catch up to you on the way to Cormier. But if there's something going on here and it's dangerous, I can't just leave them to it.
The grung said it would only be like half a day, right? We can go in the mine and we can clear it out real quick, I bet. And I don't like the idea of something like that possibly falling into bad guy hands.
Oh, Ryan, what do you think?
I mean, I'll follow what the rest of you guys say, but you're in a time crunch to get your buddy here, and he said he needed to get there quick. It doesn't look like anything that happened here is gonna end overnight.
This is a tough choice, but at the end of the day, I'd pick brother over the possibility of some sort of artifact of Mistra being put into the wrong hands. There's no right choice here, but it hurts
Well,
to think that.
how about this? What if I copy my sigils for teleportation circle and give it to you, and then you guys keep traveling, and me and Grin stay, and we check out the mine. And when we finish checking it out, then you just put down the sigils, and we can come to you. Silence is deafening, you guys. I'm gonna need a response.
Honestly, that sounds. I don't even know what's awaiting for us down there. To go in without a cleric, I feel like is ill-advised.
We haven't had a cleric in I don't even know how long, and we've managed without him.
I would say we've been far from managing,
We're alive.
just barely. And that's because we've been moving. We haven't been really digging our heels in and digging into the adventure. I think.
Well, you know what? I know this might be a foreign concept to you, but I care about like my people and my home. And if there's something dangerous here and there's some secret shadowy organization trying to get it, I feel like it's my job to at least try and stop it.
Couldn't
I
we
know.
couldn't we borrow the teleportation thing from Abel and give it to Kino?
I know the
Yes.
feeling, Grin, because
Yep.
we are going to my home and rescuing it.
Yeah, so this is what Kino knows. So if Kino wanted to take the teleportation device, go to Cormier, find brother, it would only take a day or two travel wise, but then Kino needs to find brother. And he doesn't know, or she doesn't know how long that would take necessarily. That said, I mean you're not looking at a ton of time, because you're so close. But remember that once you have the device and setting everything up, um, you're just basically you're begging Abel to come back. Abel's like planting that thing here. He's taking it with him. The problem is that Abel then needs to find a way to get back into the area that way. You can, but there's a ton of different ways to solve this.
Well,
You
don't
just
we
have to
also have the
decide what to do.
timepiece?
That's what I'm saying is the timepiece, not the crystal.
Because
Oh,
we
I
don't
see.
need
Yeah,
this
you
the
could
super
borrow the
fancy
time
one.
for you could borrow the timepiece from Abel.
Yeah, sorry, I
absolutely.
should have been more specific. There's too many teleportation items. I was specifically saying the timepiece.
Yeah, you can borrow that from Abel. Yeah. So that's actually even easier. Kino, you take the drive to it. You don't even you do it in 2 days, but you could do this theoretically in one day. You can get to Cormier in a day, but then you'd have to teleport back to this location with brother. And you have to
Honor,
find him.
Do you have any sendings?
Let me check.
If you do, I would say check with him right now, see if you can get an exact location. If we're a day out, we go in, we grab him as soon as possible, we teleport back. I can't attune to anything if you want to teleport me, but to me it sounds like these mines and this artifact have been here for quite a while. Would I be right in assuming that, Grin?
I guess I don't really know. I don't remember any of this stuff. None of this stuff was here when I was here.
Chris, what did you say your friend's name was, Grin?
Dink
Dink?
something.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Dink.
I think this one.
Dink. Did
I'm not
Dink
good
say
at
how?
names.
It's okay, Grin. Did your friend say how long the mines were there, or how long Nathan Hardkip had been here once he rebuilt the mines?
Do I remember that information? It hasn't been long because I've only been gone 10 years.
Yeah. So say it one more time though. Sorry, I was checking something while we were doing that. What was the question?
How long has it been since Nathan Hardkip rebuilt the mines?
Oh yeah. So it's been roughly it was kind of right when Grin left. I'm going through it. So it's been 10 years. It's been yeah, it's been a little over 10 years, but 10 years, yeah.
So it's been here for 10 years, Green. Can it wait another 72 hours?
Look, I'm saying you can go without me, and I'll just catch up.
I don't want to go without you, though, is what I'm saying. Haven't we lost enough people?
Look,
Grin. What did brother say?
what do you mean? What did brother say? He didn't say anything about this.
She just a piece of paper that he left us.
Well, you know what? Whatever brother said, he abandoned us in the fucking middle of nowhere, snowy wastes to go fight a fucking winter god by ourselves. So maybe whatever brother said isn't what I need to be doing.
So you'll leave us then?
I'm not leaving. I'm saying I'll catch up.
You're waiting here while we go ahead.
If that's what you choose to do.
I think it's obvious what we need to do.
So we should go grab brother and come back as quick as possible. If Grim wants to stay here, maybe don't go into the mine just yet. Maybe just talk with people, try and figure out what's going on, because we don't know what's down there. And then when we get back, as soon as we get back, we can go in there.
Grin, I think you should come with us. I don't want to split us up.
Look, I get you don't care about this place. I get it.
I do care about this place.
You don't give a shit about this. I get it.
Of
You
course
walk
I
in
do.
here. You walk in here, asking asking a fucking humble shopkeep for 1,500 gold for some pickaxes he doesn't know anything about. You look at their fucking food and you look at their fucking weapons. You think these fucking country bumpkins don't know what the fuck they're doing around here. You try and grift some of them out of their money for some trinkets. You telling me you give a shit about the people here? I get it. Okay. So you don't have to pretend like you care. Just be honest. For once since I fucking met you, just be honest about how you feel about it.
You won't believe me no matter what I say, so I think it's a moot point.
Yeah, that's the most you answer you could have given.
I care about this place. That's the whole reason I confronted the man we met when we got here.
You confronted him because he was a dragon.
I look around. Is the door closed?
So that's what I was about to say. The door would be closed, yeah. The door is closed.
Does the window have curtains on it?
No. No, and as a matter of fact, as you peer throughout as you start looking and you peer throughout the window, go ahead and make a perception check.
I'm gonna sending Abel and ask if we could borrow the timepiece.
Okay, yeah. If you do that in a couple minutes, Abel's actually gonna teleport to see his way back, and he does teleport to you. He says, "Of course." He says, I'm a little busy. I need to get back," but he gives you the timepiece. He explains to you how to use it. He's already detuned from it. He says, I'll grab it when you're ready," and he does give you the timepiece, and he goes back.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
13 on the perception.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, I mean, you look outside to see there's nothing outside.
Grin, you know I care about you. But you know how many people I've had to
Just
say
hold
goodbye
on.
to?
Before you continue, just enough. All right. Just say what you're trying to tell me. You don't have to try and butter me up. You don't have to fucking silver tongue your way through this. Just say what you want to say.
I think if we go into those mines without brother, or we pick the mines over brother, then the whole road here, nothing. Because we're on a time crunch. I absolutely think this is important, but I think what brother's doing, you think brother wanted to leave us? For as much as you distrust me, you know brother distrusts me 10 times more. So do you really think he would be pulled away by something stupid and pointless?
I know he was pulled away by his god. I don't think he'd wanted to, but I know that he chose whatever Bahamut wanted from him over what we needed from him. And I get that that you're on a time crunch to go find brother. This feels like a time crunch to me too. And to be honest with you, this time crunch feels more important to me right now.
You know that brother's always picked what's been the best for the group.
Okay, well, he left and then 3 of you got frozen and then one of us is gone now.
He didn't know that, though. None of us knew that. You
Sure,
think
he
would've
didn't know
left?
that because he left.
You could stay here then. But don't go into the mines without us.
Very good.
So, and if you're not even going to go into the mines without us, what's even the point of staying behind? It's gonna
Well, you're
sit
just
here and-
assuming that I'm going to do what you tell me to.
Chris, I sent you a text.
Oh, I didn't see it. Hold on.
Grin, do you
That is
really
correct, Ren. I
hate
mean, that's
you?
right. Yep.
Do you really think I'm that bitter of a person that I would just leave you?
I don't know what you do. I don't know what you care about. I don't know what your motivation is. I don't know who you think is important. Everything you say is suspect. I don't trust anything you say.
You're right. You don't know.
So why are you asking me questions about how I think you feel? I don't know. I don't know what you feel. I don't know if you feel.
Because you're jumping to conclusions about shit you don't know. So why don't you just follow the group? Brother told you to stay behind and watch us. Brother told you to keep tabs on me. So if you're not going to listen to me, at least listen to him.
Why should I listen to either of you?
Because we both love you. I'd risk my life for you, and I know he'd do the same. And I think it's bullshit that you don't see that.
I think either of you would risk your lives for me unless either Bahamut or Tiamat told you otherwise.
I've done a lot of stuff that I don't think she would like. But that doesn't mean that I won't stick by you.
Yeah, unless a dragon asks you to feed me to it.
And we're all standing here because of it, alive and well and together. So,
Yeah, until the next one actually does ask you to feed one of us to it. And then we'll be one less. Or,
we're
however
gonna be
many of
one
us it
less
takes to
because you're
feed a
staying
dragon.
behind, not because anyone's getting eaten by a fucking dragon. We're one down because you're choosing your home over us. So you could stay here for all I care, but I don't want you to think that we don't love you, and I don't want you to think that we wouldn't choose you over brother. Because honestly, I don't want to choose anyone over anyone, but I think what brother's doing is a real sacrifice, and I think you abandoning him is bullshit. So you could stay here, but we're leaving in the morning, with or without you.
Well, you're going to do whatever you think is important, obviously. Whatever
You're right.
secret mission you're on for Tiamat, you're going to just keep doing that.
You know I'm not on any fucking secret mission.
I don't know anything about what you're doing. Like I really don't get how you haven't picked up how you come across. Nothing you say can be trusted. You talk in circles, you don't answer questions with straight answers,
Give
and you
right
say
now.
contradicting things all the time.
Give me a question right now.
I don't have any questions for you.
Then I don't have any answers for you. But you can't complain that I don't answer questions if you don't have any questions. Do you see me? So if you don't have any questions, let's go to sleep.
Yeah, fine.
Are you in the other room or are you in here?
Well, we all have to be in the tiny hut, so
Okay. I'm gonna just motion for the Mastiff to jump up onto the bed and watch the windows and door and make sure no one tries to get a jump on us or hide in the room or whatever.
Cool. Yep.
And I might I might even try and like move some of the furniture in front of the windows and doors.
You can. Yeah, you're strong enough, and if Grin helps, of course, it's easy.
I'm gonna
yeah,
try and
help.
I'm gonna try and do so without making a ton of noise. I don't want to scrape along
Yep.
the floors
Yep.
because I know it's late. But yeah, Honorary, you got any sendings left before we call it a night?
Sorry, mic was muted. I have one.
You should talk to brother.
Okay. Real quick, Chris.
Yep.
Does I forget? Do you attune to a magic item over sleep, or do I have to be awake for it?
You have to spend an hour with this one, so you actually have to be awake because you need to spend an hour
Okay.
with this one.
So, what do you want me to say to brother? Kino?
We should eventually, like a day and a half away, or a little under 2 days.
Yep.
Cormier?
You're asking me to ask him how far away we are?
No,
No.
that was to Chris.
Oh.
Yeah, so you're around a day. You're around a day away. If you push it, you can get there in 3/4 of a day. If you and by the way, you need to do an investigation check to find him in the city, since it's been a while since you've been at Cormare. It's huge, and he's got a lot of shit going on. But depending on that investigation check, you could be within brother in 3/4 of a day or 3 days. Depends. You're going to get to Cormire in a day, and if you really push it, you can get there in 3/4 of a day.
Let's see if we can arrange a meetup spot. And how's he doing? And what we should expect when we get to the outskirts.
Okay, so arrange a meet. Okay, so we are a day away. Where should we meet you?
What to expect on arrival.
What to expect on arrival? Should we do anything? Hope you're well. That's 22.
Did you say where to meet?
I started it with, we're a day away. Where should we meet you?
Okay.
Yeah, we're a day away. Where should we meet you? What's the status of arrival? Or what should we expect on arrival? Hope things are going well. And that's about 25. So.
All right. Yeah, sounds good to me.
So
Okay.
Henri's gonna stay awake the hour to attune to it. And then she's going to also stay awake and copy as clearly as she can the sigils of her teleportation circle.
Okay, so do me a huge favor, guys. As you were getting all of the furniture and moving in front of the windows and everything, do me a favor. Both of you make perception checks.
Both who?
Both Kino and Grin need to make a perception check for me.
17?
Okay.
9.
All right. Oh. Okay, so at the very end of the night, as you guys are moving that furniture, Honor, you're still doing this. Kino, you notice that sure enough, in the corner, you see the grung looking in the window through that conversation. He has probably overheard everything. He is, by the way, perceptive enough to see you notice him, and he like jumps up. Pippity, what do you want your character to do at this point now that it's you're positive Kino's seen you?
I
We're on
guess
the second floor, no?
Yes, you are. Yep,
I,
you are.
I'm just gonna climb up back to my room.
I'm
So
going
you
to.
jump up to the third floor? Okay.
Can I make it seem like I haven't seen? Like, can I do a glance and then look away?
You can definitely do a performance check once you do stuff like that. Normally he would notice you. If you want to try to do a performance check, your passive wouldn't work here, but if you want to do like a straight up performance check, you can try, but your passive
I
is
will.
different. Yeah.
18.
Okay. Just give me a performance check. Pipidoo, so you're opposing that to see if you notice. I mean, sorry, a perception check. If I said performance, this is perception. Okay. So you don't. So sorry. So you are not sure yet that they have seen you. However, you are outside. You have, of course, been able to listen to almost all of that.
Excuse me. I'm just gonna use the facilities before we go to sleep. I'm gonna walk.
Yep.
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Yep.
I'm going to walk down to the outside around the side of the building.
Yeah, and sure enough, you see a small grung on the ledge windowsill here. He's like in the foliage. Now that you've obviously spotted him, you'll be able to make him out. But he's in the foliage here. He's got like, half cover. He's still looking in to go through things. Now you are Pippity, you are definitely perceptive enough to know that Kino went outside. So do me a favor, roll a perception check, Kino. I assume you're rolling stealth. At disadvantage, I assume, right? You're trying to be
Good
careful
luck.
so he doesn't see you?
I wasn't trying to make it look like I was going for him. I was just walking around the outside of the building.
Oh, no, no, he knows you left, this is what I'm saying. So
Oh,
he
okay.
you said it. You said I'm leaving to so that's what I mean. So he would know that worst case you're coming out. So
Okay.
so go ahead and roll. I assume you're trying are you being careful or do you care if he hears you or not?
I'm just going to. I'm going to walk out. I don't want to seem hostile. I just want to be like, "Hey, I'm here. Can we talk?
Oh, right. Okay. So
Can we be
you're not rolling
civilized?"
stealth. Okay,
No.
so that's what you hear in like a couple minutes you hear Kino's like basically plate mill clanking over. Your blood kind of runs cold. You're like, "Ugh." And Kino says that. What are you doing, Pepe?
Actually, before that,
Yeah.
could I just climb back to my room?
Well, you could. So this is what you see. As you start to hear you, because you didn't know that Kino was coming for you. As
I did see
Kino
him leaving.
you saw that he left, but since that's why I made you do the perception check to go through, your character would still reasonably like be trying to like gain information because it seemed like there was like more unresolved to this. So that's why I'm saying I think it reasonably makes sense that Kino would just come out because this is only 2 rounds. So even if you were getting ready to go back, you'd still have to be like still have to get ready to jump out or whatever. And as that point, Kino will be able to see you, and Kino's just gonna basically come out to you and say, "Hey, what's going on?" And you get a chance to respond to this.
But I don't want to. I just wanted to
Oh no,
climb
no,
back.
you can. That's what I'm saying. You can, if you want to, you can just jump up. But Kino's still going to see you, is what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Why don't you come inside instead of standing out of our window? We'll talk to you.
Okay.
We're not unreasonable. I just
Uh,
think talking through a
I
window
mean,
is.
yeah. So if you want, so this is 20 feet down. So this is what you see. The only safe way for you to get down without having to do fall damage or anything
I
is
have.
go ahead.
I'm a monk. I'm a monk.
Yep. I mean, you can, if you want to, you can just take the fall, the 20-foot fall. It's up to you. You can also jump up to the 3rd floor and then jump down. Is what I'm
Don't
saying.
monks have a thing
So,
with falling distance?
I also have
Yes.
a climbing
Yeah.
speed.
yeah, he can climb, is what he's saying. So it's up to you. Like, tell me how you want to get down.
I just jump down.
Okay. All right, so that's fine. So you can get down. You go through and you jump off this area here. You basically your foot catches in one of the planks on this side, and then you're able to like move that to like jump down. You're now in front of Kino. Let me get your just in case people do anything crazy. Let me get your miniatures out. But here you are, and Kino, you're right next to him.
Thank you.
Lead the way.
You guys are going back into the house.
I will open up the door, have him walk in first, and then close the door behind him.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I will just lock it too for good measure, just in case anyone's following him.
Sure. Sure.
We have a guest who was watching us from the outside. Pepe, Grin, Henri, Orion.
Oh, new
I
friend.
didn't. But nice to meet you.
You make a
Hello.
piss poor introduction, you know that.
I'm just
A little spy.
a little curious.
Yeah, well, you know what they say about the curious cat, right?
Satisfaction brought it back, though.
I've heard you talking about Mistra. I know something.
Yes, that was definitely one of the things we were talking about.
What do you know about Mistra and Mistra's connection to whatever's in the mine?
I've heard that one of the relic is of Mistra. That is inside of this mine.
Is that the one you want?
No,
So what's the other one?
it's a relic of my people.
Are you working for someone?
No,
Insight check.
Go for it. You have to
I'm going
oppose
to
him,
be
though, but
inciting almost everything
even
he
when you're
says.
telling the truth, you still have to oppose Pepe. So you wait by opposing. It's just persuasion. You can
18.
you can do performance too. 18. And what was your roll, Pepe?
19.
Okay. So no matter what, he's going to look like he does appear to be telling the truth. Pepe, if you want though, you can actually break it. You can actually just basically, even when you oppose, you can also just be honest and say I'm telling the truth as well. It's up to you.
Well, I am telling the truth.
Yeah, he is telling the truth.
What do you know about that group that's taken over the temple up on the hill there with the big sword? Do you know anything about them?
I just got here like 2 days ago. I know nothing.
Okay. I think they want whatever's in the mind also.
What are the two things in the mine? The two.
One relic of Mistra and one relic of my people.
A grung relic.
Yes.
When you say relic, what are they though? Like, are they?
I'm not sure actually.
I can
Just-
I can describe him for you. Your character would actually know. Do you want me to describe him for you?
well, sure, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So one of the relics that you know about, and you can convey this to the party, is that there is a crystal statue. The best description that's been handed to you that you're aware of on your intel and everything is that it's supposed to be a visage of Mistra. The statue itself has been broken, and essentially it streams out like basically like powerful magic within it. This is supposed to be one of the more powerful relics of Mistra. It's priceless. Anyone could take this thing and retire off of it forever. This is worth way more than your Grung relic. You would know this, and it's also insanely powerful. It was broken because of a mishap with another adventuring party that you don't know any details on at all. But that's the rumor. The rumor is someone got close to taking this out and it obliterated all of them, or something obliterated all of them, or somehow they all died. That's the rumor. There have been more than 40 groups that you know of that have gone for the Mr. artifact. You didn't even care about that, so that's why you told them that this is going to be fine, because you weren't necessarily going to go for that. You really wanted your artifact on itself, and you were pretty sure that with everyone coming in for Mistra, that this wouldn't be a big deal, and you guys would have a relatively easy time getting the Grung artifact. But you have heard that this thing is insanely powerful. So again, it's some kind of important like piece that one of the now that you've like heard the story and you heard what Grin said, your guess is it's probably the avatar of Mistress's like personal item, which would make it like insanely like it would be worth as much as a town essentially. So you can relay all that to them if you wish.
So there is that.
Yeah.
All right. Pepe, you said your name was?
Yes.
And by the way, Pepe, you have a good idea of where both of them are within the mine, and they can use you as a guide. You do not know exactly where. You just have a decent intels on this.
So I'm gonna tell them that as well.
Yep. Okay.
I need to explain something to you, Pepe. We're a little on edge. We've been running for like a week now, trying to get to somewhere. Um, we've had people trying to kill us. We've had a god try to kill us. So we're a little bit hostile towards people spying on us. Now I understand you were just spying on us. You weren't trying to, I don't know, set up a trap or anything. You were just looking in because we're kind of a gaggle of freaks right now. But if you actually do want our help in the mine, and I'm actually inclined to help you because our interests may align there, you need to not sneak around us anymore. Do you understand me?
We don't give people second chances, is what he's saying nicely. You picked the wrong group of folks to fuck with.
I didn't fuck with anyone. What are you talking about?
You're eavesdropping on us, and I don't know how they do it in Grung villages, but they don't normally do that sort of thing here.
I'm just looking for some friends to help me with the mine.
Is
What?
this how you normally treat your friends?
Yes?
Here's
Well,
the
my
thing.
friends aren't as secretive, and that's saying something because we're a pretty secretive bunch.
I just sat through like
We
a 20-minute argument of you and your friend yelling at each other,
Yeah, I was about to say.
Kino and Grin. I really don't think that this is the time for anybody to be criticizing another person's definition of friends.
Here's the thing, Pepe. We may or may not have people after us. So when we see someone spying on us, our hackles go up. Now, you don't, I believe you when you say you're here on your own, you're not working for someone. I believe you. So I just wanted to explain some of this um, initial hostility. But everything's fine because you're not going to spy on us anymore. And we're all being honest with each other, right?
Right.
Oh, he will definitely not spy on us again.
Great. And Grin's gonna hold his hand out to shake his hand.
Yep. Yeah.
I shake your hand.
Yep.
Do you wear any gloves?
No.
You are poisoned.
I was gonna say, do you so
I
that's
mean,
the thing.
yeah,
Do you stop
Grin.
him, or do you stop him, or do you allow him to shake your hand?
Would
I shake his hand.
would I, as a druid, be able to see that there's something off about him?
Yeah, you can make a nature check. Make a nature check on Grungs before you go to shake his hand. Yeah, make a nature check.
That's a 25.
Yeah, so you stop. You can say something right before, and you would know that grungs have a secreted poison.
Yeah, Orion would just probably was like, I wouldn't shake his hand, but there's a bit of a film on his skin. You say that's not exactly friendly.
Did you know that, Pepe,
Know what?
that you were poison?
What?
Do I believe him that he's
Yeah, you can
playing
make
dumb?
you can make an insight check. But Pepe, do you personally know that your character is poisonous?
Well, he's 1 year old and he's immune to poison, so
Right, he doesn't know. That's exactly what I'm getting at. Yeah. So no, he doesn't. So go anyway. Go ahead. So you just react like you are. And going through it. He doesn't know though.
Kina's just resting her hand on answerer.
Yep.
She's drumming her fingers.
Yep.
Okay. Obviously, Grin's gonna, as soon as Orion speaks up and says the guy's poisonous, he's gonna like retract his hand. Okay. So we're working with a poisonous little frog person.
Mm-hmm. That likes to watch us. Grin, I'm actually going to take a page out of your book because last time we kind of met this sort of tension. You wanted us to take a vote. So why don't we take a vote? We go into the mines or we go, get brother.
There's one
Yeah.
issue.
What?
Unless we're taking Pepe's vote, we're an even number. Which means
Well,
Yep.
I'm not going to vote. You can all vote on whether or not you're going to stay with me.
Okay. I
Yep.
vote we go get brother.
is
I think
Orion
the caves
voting?
are important.
No, Orion will just stay, and this isn't his decision to make.
Then we are an even number. We are 2. And that's a standoff. I don't want to
Orion, you're
leave.
one of us now, and this pertains to you, so we would appreciate your vote.
Orion, you've been with us too long to not get a voice.
He'd probably just shrug and say, well, if the importance of finding your friend, he's doing something that's much bigger than everybody realizing, and it's that important, it might be worthwhile to go get him first. It's a fairly short trip back here.
Did you ever get a response, Henri?
Did I? John? Did I?
No, you didn't.
I did not.
Fuck.
I was waiting on info from Chris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's fair it's fair that you wouldn't be able to respond right now, brother. So
We have no idea what he's up to. If he's in bad shape. To be honest, it's not like there's prisoners in the caves. It's not like there's a crazy evil being unleashed in the caves. Why can't we wait 2-3 days?
So go.
You really should come with us. Haven't we lost enough people?
Well, if you're going to be as quick as you say, then you'll be back here in no time.
We're a unit, Grin. We're a team.
Are we? Look, I really don't want to get into this again with you.
Honor, Grin.
You cut out. What'd you say?
Are you with Grin, Henri? Are you staying here?
Uh, I mean, I attuned. I want to stay. Unfortunately, I just spent the last hour tuning to the teleportation item, which is probably our best bet of getting back here as quick as possible.
So we go, teleport back at the end of tomorrow. Cuts down on our time.
I also did, Chris. I'm not
What
sure
did
how
Henri
successful.
ask, by the way, in the sending? I didn't even hear it. What did Henri ask in the sending?
We're a day from Cormier. Where should we meet you? What's the status of arrival? Hope everything is good.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, no, sorry. That he could respond to. Hold on. I didn't even see that. So hold on 1 second. I can tell you though. Brother would respond and say, let me get the outline right here though. Hold on. Okay. He brother would tell you that you guys can meet him at Arabelle. And give me the whole sending again.
A day out from Cormier. Where should we meet you? What's the status of arrival? Like what is?
If you can get here within a day or two, you can meet him at Arabelle. You can meet at the Church of Bahamut, Temple of Bahamut. So you can meet him at the temple in Arabelle. But you have to get here within. If you're doing it that way, you need to get there within 2 days.
I think that's doable. Did he give any specific information we need to watch out for when we're entering the town? Places we should avoid, things we should look out for.
He would tell you that if you come into the town, just come straight to the Church of Bahamut. Don't just literally go there first, and those people will take care of you. Other than that, there's nothing else you have to look out for. They would be too long in sending anyway.
Then it's decided.
Okay.
All right, we're over time, by the way, guys. So, is there anything else that anybody wanted to do before we take the long rest?
We
and
are
can start
not
tonight?
over time. We started at 6.
Yeah, we go till 9.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, guys.
Nice
Yeah,
try,
good,
Chris.
awesome. No, this is good. I was like, man, this really is. Yeah. No, that's good. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, we
I'm
had
gonna
like an hour.
do. I'll tell everyone I'm gonna do my 4 hours of meditation as soon as we take the long rest. So in 4 hours, I'll take watch. My fine steed is going to be on the bed watching doors and windows.
Yeah.
Pepe, would you like to stay in this room?
Nah, I'm good. I just go to my room.
All right. Stay safe. We'll meet back with you in the morning.
All right. Yeah, you guys see Pepe as he leaves. Pepe, you can easily make your way up into the 3rd floor. All right. So you guys are gonna go into the tiny hut. You said.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So everyone's going in the tiny hut. By the way, I mean, tiny hut is fine. Tiny hut is 10 feet, right? Is it 10 or
The
20
Mastiff
feet?
isn't going into the tiny hut. Mastiff's curling
That's
up on the
fine.
bed.
That's totally fine. Is it 10 or 20 feet, Henri? I keep
1
forgetting.
second. It is a 10-foot radius.
That's what I thought. It's 10 foot. Yeah. Yeah. So just keep in mind, anytime you guys do this, even with 4 of you, it's like super cramped with 6 of you. Even with 4 of you, it's always cramped. Whenever you do tiny hut, it's fine. You guys get everything set up, but you could theoretically, by the way, do tiny hut with the bed, so at least half of you have a bed and the other half have floor with things set up too. But that's one thing to keep in mind, is that eventually what I'm going to say is that if you sleep on the floor all the time, if you sleep on the floor for 2 weeks, um and never ever get a decent bed, at some point that'll affect you. But for now, you're good.
I mean, we could do it on the bed. I was just looking at where Andre's standing.
Yeah.
Oh, the dog jumped down
Remember,
there.
this would be the first time you guys have seen a bed in a while, so yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure. But I also thought the dog was on the bed, so.
No, I can move him. He'll kind of jump down and do a few
Yeah.
circles and sit.
Okay, so you do it here, yeah. So, Henri, any special color with this one, or you don't care?
Blue.
Okay. Yeah, you guys see Henri take out her crystal bead and go through and start focusing and
Ah,
really
I forgot that.
taking that bead and like basically expanding it out into this area. And then sure enough, as it expands, as it has this like glass dome, it literally solidifies into like I suppose a sky blue. You cannot see through. Everyone's inside of it, obviously, when she casts this. And then, yeah. All right.
At some point, Andre's just gonna have a really quiet conversation with Grin.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
also
that's fine.
a few feet from you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was about to say. It's fine. That's everyone's gonna be able to hear you, but
Yeah.
you can still have the conversation.
I mean,
yeah.
I can screenshot it because Tom and I just did it over DMs.
Okay, sure.
I'm also, before I start meditating, I'm going to just apologize to Grin.
Okay.
We're gonna be all right. It just sucks. It's been rough for a long time.
Yeah. No kidding.
I'm just
Sleep
gonna
time.
start my meditation.
Yeah, so I made sure to attune to the timepiece before we went to bed.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Should we call it there, do you think? Because it's 8:55? I'd be down to keep playing, but
I was gonna ask. I just want to make sure that I have it correct, that everything that happened during the warlock session happens when I wake
Yeah,
up.
yeah, that is correct. That's what I was about to say. No, yeah, I'm sorry, guys, I was right. It is coming to a close soon. For some reason, I thought we had like an hour after you said that, Henri, but no.
I mean, we can keep playing for an hour. I'm fine.
We didn't really start until 6:30 because everyone was getting new character stuff set up.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot. Unfortunately, though, the other thing that we were going to run into is no matter what, after this, and we go through it, depending on what happens, I mean, I'm not opposed to basically, if everyone is on the same page of just trying to get brother, we might be able to do that in 20 minutes, maybe. But then it's going to get into a bunch of other stuff that it's going to be awkward to stop. So, what is the idea, I guess?
I'll make a beeline for it. I just want to get brother again.
Yeah.
Because it sounded like he was in a dire, very time restrained situation. So I want to just get him as soon as possible and then double back to the village.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean, but that's what I'm asking. Is the whole group going though? Did we decide, or is
No,
Kino, you're just going?
Grin is staying
Okay,
behind. Orion
that's what
and
I thought.
Henri are going with Kino.
Ryan and Henri are going to go, and Grid's going to stay behind. So, uh, and I assume Pepe, you're going to stay with Grin, correct?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. All right. So if we're going to go through and do that, let me bring up the overworld real quick.
Also, in the morning when I wake up,
Yep.
Or when I stop my meditations, in my lap, I'm going to have this large warhammer. And
Yep.
before we part ways, I'm just going to hand it over to Grin and go, just in case things get bad. I wanted to give you this.
Yep.
Where did you get this?
So I saw Sio in a dream, and there was a bunch of people, and we were in a mansion. And one of the people there gave this to me. They got it in the tomb. I checked it out. It's safe. It really kicks ass against undead, and it seems pretty magical, and I think you could use it. And I'm going to give you the Corpse Slayer Warhammer.
Okay.
Grin, I don't want you to be mad at me.
Is that true? And I don't believe anything you say. So
I swear to God, it's true.
everything you say has some kind of ulterior motive to me. So
You could do an insight check.
I don't know what you're saying. Those words don't mean anything to me.
You can focus really, really hard on whether or not I'm lying.
Anyway, you don't need to believe me. Just stay safe. I'd rather have you be angry and safe than believing me and dead. So
I mean, if
she's
he was
just
dead, he wouldn't be believing you much.
Henri, read the room.
That was 100% Amanda, and you know it.
and she's just gonna kind of look down and I'll see you in a day.
Yeah, you better hurry.
I'm always hurrying.
All right. So, this is what I was about to say. If so, here's the complication, and there is a major one. You probably cannot actually go with Henri, and with the druid unless they find a way to also have a steed because you're pushing it. There's no way you're getting there in 3/4 of a day unless all of you have like stuff
Well, we have
to
a
go
cart
through.
now.
Well, so that's what I was going to ask. Like, are you then going to push are you going to push the thing with the cart? Because that's a whole other thing. You can do that, but Orion would have to be willing to like basically like torture the animals to do that, which he's
I
clearly said he is not. That's why I was
I thought
saying
you
that
said
that's if you push. So it's 3/4 of a day if you push, which you can, but you have to stress the animals, which Orion has not been willing to do thus far.
it was a day if we don't push, half a day if we do push.
No, so 3/4 a day, 3/4 a day if you push, or in a day and a half if you don't push it. Yeah. So when you push, it's half the time. So 75% of the day if you push, but in a day and a half if you don't. I actually
Orion,
said a day or two, and it depends, and then it depends on your investigation check. So the real truth is that once you find out, because you actually don't know, you guys don't exactly know how long it's going to take. Like going through this, it's not an exact science with anything. But the truth of the matter is that it's going to take like 3/4 of the day if you go through it to really push your steed, which is what I assumed. If you can do it with the carts and everything, it's just Orion's got to be willing to really push those animals, and then you just have to once you're there, now that you have a clear like way to get in with Arabelle, it's not that bad, but you still have to make an investigation check because you need to find the temple, and we need to make sure that like things don't find you before you find the temple and kind of stuff. But you'll remember where Arabelle is, so that's not the issue. The issue, you don't have to make wilderness checks or survival checks, but you are gonna have to push this. So it's fine to bring the whole group, but Orion, you need to push the horses.
I'd let Orion know that if worse comes to worse, I'd lay on hands and I could heal the horses.
And if he would see that if it was that important, he would be actively healing the horses as he went.
And after this, they'll have a few days of rest when we go into the mines.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just that it's exhaustion on the horses. So this is unfortunately not something that lay on hands can heal, but they can heal up once they're rested. So it's just like if you were pushing yourself, lay on hands won't stop you from getting exhausted, but it could help, obviously.
Yeah. Orion would probably have a good long talk with the horses and let them know the gravity of the situation.
Yep. Yep. Okay. All right. So if Orion's gonna push the horses and we're gonna get there in 3/4 of a day, we could totally do that. So hold on one second. Let me just pull something up real quick so that we have it ready. Um, Okay. So so immediately the first thing that you notice when you get to the main gates of Arabelle, and we'll go ahead and fast forward to that. There are some things that happen, but we'll get to those because I know we want to at least get the end of the session going through it. So once you get to the main gates of Arabelle, the very first thing that you notice is the large spiring basically towers at the end of each gate. The walls are smooth in Arabelle, and it actually looks like a very, very wealthy capital city. And the reason why you know that right away is you come in these 140-foot towers, is that the tops of the towers, the tops of those two towers, are this brilliant gold that literally stings your eyes and like almost blinds you as you come up into it. This thing is pretty majestic, this gate. Um, at 130 feet, the gate itself, which is currently closed, looks like it could withstand cannon fire if it had to. It looks like it could actually withstand siege weapons. Not only is it double reinforced with what looks like a very shiny metal that looks very clean, but it's also got this like lattice work of copper all through the gate, which is it makes it look incredibly ornate, but probably has some kind of other use as well for structural integrity that make it look like it's extra fortified. Um, as you walk into the gate there is a smaller door, and the church is already prepared a way for you to get inside. So there's a bunch of guards that are standing outside. The whole city has been sealed, but they do usher you in. Um, uh, they the they basically give you directions to the church. Do me a huge favor. As a group, everyone roll investigation checks.
Ugh. Do I get any bonus because I've lived here?
Not for this because it's going to be the whole group anyway. So
I got a 4.
yeah, that's cool. That's fine. What did everyone get?
21.
Yeah. What'd you get, Orion?
I ain't got shit. Orion rolled a 3.
Okay, so 2 5. All right. All right. So this is what ends up happening. So this is not actually to see what you guys are going through. This is to see the outcome. So you walk into the city, and when you walk in, there's a huge crowd in this. So first of all, once you walk in, there's this brilliant main street with shops and looks like maybe restaurants and taverns that are lining the main road, and it's massive. The entire walled city of this thing is actually taller in the back. So there's a 130-foot, which if you think about like the reality of a 13-story wall, already is dramatic and massive against the backdrop of the city. But there's an even higher wall that you can see all the way on the other side on the opposite end. And you see like large crowds of people. It looks like there's like a festival going on, but you just incredibly large crowds of people. You see the nobility out with what looks like some kind of parade, and the parade has what looks like some like basically golden like kind of floats going through things. The floats all show different depictions of like extravagance, where it's like wealth, and you see like this the one that's like coming at you on the other side is basically this display of a lot of different people eating, and it's unrealistically amazing how much wealth is displayed on this. As a matter of fact, to the point that all of you kind of believe there's no way this could possibly be something like real gold, because it's just the float is too intricate and massive. It looks like 100 different artisans had basically pounded away at these very like thin but incredibly ornate hollow golden kind of like dioramas on these things. And the reason why you think they must be hollow is because they'd have to be light enough to be able to like basically house all these people underneath that are carrying them and moving them. And sure enough, every now and then, as it basically moves direction so that it starts to like basically go away from you, it is certainly hollow and intricate on the ends of it, because you can see when they move, you can see these little seams where the light shines through. But this is like an amazingly ornate display of wealth. No one in this party has ever seen anything like this anywhere that they've ever lived. And Kino, you don't remember anything like this ever happening in Cormier before when you were growing up here. So this is all new. Anyway, you start pushing through the crowd. These members of the church usher you in to the temple, and sure enough, you see a very like battered brother. He's got brother. You have literally just come back from your mission in Arabelle. It was a complete failure. I've already done the roll for this, so you were not able to go through and do this last day's worth of things. So you're battered. You actually look like you've been like hurt and healed up potentially. But you'll be able to go through and see them now. You're surprised they got here so quickly. Um, but I'll let you guys interact before we do anything. So this is the first time you've seen brother in a while. And sure enough, the church does there's another. You see another dragonborn with what looks like silver scales go to talk to you, brother. This is the person that you've basically been like working with to not only like help strategize your mission, but this person also goes back and forth occasionally to like the greater church. Potentially even talks to Bahamut, although you guys don't speak about that. And he's been like coordinating the effort with you. You guys are basically the most like senior ranking officials at this entire thing. So
All right then.
But we see brother.
yeah, he's just come in. Like I said, he's getting healed up right now, but you can tell things did not go well because he's got blood all over him. He bits of his armor are already broken off. That they're like basically going through and now healing and mending with him.
This
On
might
top
be
of that,
insensitive. Do Warforged bleed?
they do.
That's
They do.
I don't think
He's
That's
got blood.
racist.
He's got red blood all over
I
him.
did
though.
set it off
That's
with
not-
this may be
It's not
insensitive.
brother's blood. It's not brother's blood. He's got blood all over him that's red. You know, you've seen brother like get hurt. It's not brother's blood, but Warforged absolutely bleed. They don't bleed red blood though. But anyway, he's got blood all over him that's red or whatever. He's got like pieces chunked off him that they're already dealing with. By the way, you see other dragonborn with him that are being carried in that have died. So it's not just brother. So anyway, that's where but he sees everyone come in. Brother, you have just been told, by the way, that you have literally just been told at this moment that your tour has ended. You knew this would be your last one, but you didn't think they'd like basically evict you this quickly. So
He would just solemnly shake his head and sort of absentmindedly wipe some of the blood off his bare surfaces.
So is he finished being healed now?
yeah, pretty much. He's in the process, but it's almost done.
Okay. Well, Ani's gonna wait until she sees him be like finished healing because she doesn't want to mess with that, and then she's gonna run like straight for him.
Yeah, and you can level your character, by the way, brother. You're level 9. So
Yep. Yeah, he would first try to attend to some of the ones that they're carting in, the ones that are still alive, the ones that he know are still alive.
Yep.
And then after maybe about 5 or 10 minutes after they've triaged and he's been able to do as much as healing he can, he would probably just sort of get up and sort of mind himself for a minute and just sit down on the floor against the wall.
I mean, I would assume that he notices me running for him.
He hears the pitter-patter a little too late.
I mean, if you're sitting against the wall, I can't run and tackle you like I was expecting to.
I mean, you still could. It'd just be a bit of a lower tackle.
I would hit
Does
the
it?
wall.
doesn't a tackle mean you
I was
knock
gonna
him
say
over?
I can also
Yes.
see Henri as a very fleshy human literally slam
I
into this
just
piece of
knock
metal
myself
like, wood.
unconscious.
and she's just like now like black eye
Down.
Yeah.
Henri down.
I'm going to try and tackle the station wagon.
That's exactly what it's like.
I'm going to try to tackle town hall.
Yeah, he would see her running down the hallway and just sort of like the look of surprise would be unintelligible, but he would just like try to quickly get up, even though it's a little labored.
Yeah. If he is standing up and like not right against the wall, she will still like. I don't even know that she has the weight to even attempt to tackle, but like a running hug, a running flying hug at the very least.
Yep.
And she's just gonna be like babbling about, brother, I can't believe it's been so long. It's so nice to see you. Like we've missed you so much.
Pain, squeezing hard. Ow.
See, like Henri doesn't even think that she has the ability to hurt brother. So it's gonna take her a few seconds to realize that he's like being serious, and she's gonna like really quickly back off, like hands in the air, like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
You just sort of pat her on the head. It's been a busy few weeks.
Did everything go okay?
Not as well as we had hoped. There's much damage, and the city is in great danger.
It's not the only one. And Kina's gonna say, kind of standing a bit back. She's trying to hold back a happiness, like there's a reservation to her, and she's just kind of waiting behind this wall for you to make the first move.
He'll just regard her sternly as he sort of stands a little bit taller, a little bit more shine to him. And he'll just eye her and say, and sort of look around, see where the other clerics in the temple are at the moment.
She's
He's
gonna hug
basically
you.
seeing who's around.
She's gonna think about it, but she's gonna walk up to you and give you a big hug. I've missed you so fucking much.
We are not free to speak here. We must leave.
Let's go.
And he'd probably go off to speak with the rest of the clerics, knowing that he would have to leave Arabelle immediately now. Then probably grab his effects and try to make as quickly as an exit as possible.
Yeah, so Henri like will start explaining that Grin's not here because of what's happening in his village, which is like a day away. And the whole thing with yeah, she's gonna say she's gonna explain the whole thing with Mishra. Like she's gonna say that
Yeah,
word out
basically,
loud.
he's just going to tell her to walk and talk as they leave the city as fast as possible.
Okay,
Right.
I also have the timepiece. I have it from
Oh
Evil.
wait, brother, did you meet Orion?
Ryan's just sort of like standing back near the door, sort of like looking around because he's never been in a major city before.
This is one of the best, I will say. I hope it stays that way.
And he's just sort of like literally just like slack jawed, like you imagine like a Great Dane just sort of like looking around.
Yep.
And he just sort of nod over to the Warforged and say, they speak rather highly of you. Strange house you got here. Do you live in all of this, or is this like a communal thing, or is there a fee?
Yeah, are you talking to one of the priests? Is he talking to one of the priests?
Yeah, he'd be like sort of like addressing the whole area, sort of like halfway to brother, but like the rest of the priests around there.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna take him back, brother. How did you want? So let me ask you this: we haven't really discussed this. How would you like to see your character exit so you can be brother? What do you want to happen with
I'd say
Orion?
Orion would probably go back and work on the thing with Abel.
Okay, all right, that's fair. So anyway, for now he's gonna go talk to the priests and go through things, and I can resolve that, and I'll like write something up for that, which is
Yeah.
fine. We need to come up with a reason though why Orion doesn't come back with you guys, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we can talk more during the week. I have a bit of an outline for it.
Okay, cool, awesome.
We need a long conversation between Orion and brother.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just
We don't need that.
I just want to hear John talk to himself for half an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he talks to himself for 3 hours every Sunday. We're just in his mind.
Yeah.
He's gonna look down at an empty Discord.
Yeah.
He's sitting in
Yep.
voice chat by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anu
So,
will explain that she has the timepiece. They can teleport if they want. And she also gave Grin her teleportation circle, whichever one
Yeah.
they would rather do, because the timepiece is free.
Yeah.
And
Brother
brother would say
timepiece.
speed is of the essence.
Yeah. So
Yes.
so here's the thing that I will say. With brother telling you to get out, and with the fact that you promised Grin that you would take as least amount of time as possible, I think it's most sensible that you guys would teleport back. So
We'd be leaving the cart, wouldn't we?
that's
No,
right.
we could teleport with the horse. Really? We can't teleport
Yeah,
with the horses?
Well-
you can't teleport with according to teleport, you get everything within your inventory, but you do not get you like cannot bring in structure, and the horse and the cart would count as a structure, right?
Can we
So
shrink the cart down and put it in the bag of holding?
if you do that, you can take it.
Okay, yeah.
Henri?
Yeah. I'll reduce the cart and put it in.
Wait, does that work?
Now here's what it does. You
Okay,
can do whatever you want, but read the spell. Yeah.
The target size is halved in all dimensions and its weight is reduced to 1/8 of normal. This
Right.
reduction decreases its size by one category, from medium to small, for example.
Right. Right, and I would look at durations and all that fun stuff. Yeah.
It's a minute. We have 1 minute.
No,
That's-
no,
I'm
no.
not saying go ahead and do it. I'm gonna say like your character would know durations. Do it, and I can resolve it. But
If we do
that
it,
would be fucking epic.
if we
Go for
take it and then jump through the teleport as quick as possible.
Yeah, I was gonna say by all means do it. That will be fucking awesome. Wait to see what happens. but-
Concentration along with enlarge reduce.
Well, no, she's using a magic item. The good news is she's using a magic item teleport, so she can keep the concentration up. It is concentration, by the way. She can
Yes.
keep the concentration up. Use that. Go back. If she fucks it up, then she fucks it up. But yeah. But I would be. But just what I'm saying is, next time I won't do this. But your character kind of knows how the spell works. Just everyone read the shit out of that and see if that's what you want to do, and then we can do it, and then I'll tell you what happens.
We can also use not the bag of holding specifically. Because we have the handy haversack and the portable hole.
Oh, that's correct.
And we have the
Um,
Shadowfell box.
Couldn't not I'm obviously not there, but why don't you guys just have Orion ride the wagon back?
Yeah, that's what I was just about to
Also
say.
true.
Like the rest of you teleport, and Orion's like, "All right, I'll bring the wagon," because he likes the horses anyway.
That's right. And then Orion dies on his own, heading back. That's
Oh
also
no!
no, that's actually really good. That's a really good idea. That's how we get Orion out. Sorry, Brian.
Chris! Oh my god!
That is perfect because it's very, very, very dangerous to travel anyway. I was going to make consecutive rolls. He's going to fail one of them. It's fine. No, I'm joking. Orion can travel back. There's no guarantee he makes it to you, but he totally can travel back. Anyway, the reason why you guys could push things too is because he was pushing things. We don't know that Orion would necessarily push back, but anyway, that's fine. So we can do that for now, and you guys, the plan is to have Orion like bring the cart back with the horses.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Yep. I mean, he's a 9th level druid, right? So I mean, he's
He's no slouch.
Yeah. It does not mean you will make it back alive, but probably.
I mean, brother could always construct a couple of soldiers from the temple to escort him.
Yep.
I believe he does have the gold for that.
Also, the wagon and the horses were all just 30 gold.
Well, the wagon was Lucia's, wasn't it?
No, the wagon we bought from
No,
the
no.
farmer in that town.
Yeah.
Lucia
Oh,
and
Lucia
her
took
company
hers. Okay.
took. Yeah, they're long gone.
Yeah. Yep.
The wagon is not the most valuable thing we have.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I shouldn't have said anything and just let you guys reduce it. But anyway, yeah.
I
Well,
was
there's
only
still
being like half serious
more
with
stuff.
Urgus.
Yeah.
Yes, brother, we have a lot to talk about.
We're in a town of gnomes. I'm sure they can build us a new wagon.
Well, like I said, the two things that I think are reasonable here, though, first and foremost, brother told you to get the fuck out. You would get the fuck out. Also, and brother, you would get the fuck out. The other thing is that, um, uh, you guys did make a promise to Grin anyway. So,
No,
you
yeah, I
guys, so
definitely want to teleport.
yeah, yeah. So you guys go ahead and teleport out, and we'll bring Orion back on the cart. So, you go ahead and activate the timepiece. It whirls up. Um, uh, you have your conversation with Orion to go through things. Right before you guys teleport, you see a blinding flash of light, and for a split second, this happens every time. However, this is the only time you've noticed it. Especially since Abel's not here, for a split second, you actually see what looked like 1,000 clockwork towers in front of you, and a city that you've never seen before in your life, with a bunch of things whirling by. You can't make any of them out, and then you're gone. And you come back to the um, the place that you teleported on. Go ahead and roll for your teleport on me. Let's see exactly where you get.
Guidance.
Yeah, D100.
Can you guidance a D100?
Sure you can. Just very, very small effect.
I'm not so sure you can actually.
Yeah, I mean,
84.
literally, can you?
No, I
84.
don't think so. It's not an ability. You can't use guidance because it's not an ability check. It's
Oh, it's not hard.
Yeah.
I think you
Um,
let us do it once, but 84.
Oh, did I? That was probably a fuck up. Okay, so you're fine. Yeah, so you're on target. Um, so so where did you want to teleport, Henri?
Uh,
You have
right
intel
to
elsewhere.
the. I think we would have discussed with Grin like where he
Yeah.
would be, like if he was staying at the inn, and if he said he was, like I would teleport to outside, like into the courtyard of the inn.
Perfect. Okay.
Grin
So
would
you're on target. Yeah.
Grin would probably say he was going to stay at his parents, but that's literally like right across the street.
Yeah.
So
That's fine. We can do it in front. That's fine. Why don't you guys teleport in a safer area anyway, which is here? This would have been more reasonably safe.
Where?
So you guys teleport right in front of Grin's house in the
Yeah,
thing.
I
Right
just
over here.
figured that a street where somebody might be was not as safe as a courtyard.
It's true. There is that. That is actually 100% true. Well, so that's fine. We'll teleport in the courtyard. So it's
I
fair.
was also thinking outside, like right outside of the city, because I don't want to teleport into a person.
Yeah. Yeah.
I figured the
That is
courtyard
fair.
would be okay though, because as far as I remembered, I didn't see anybody else in the courtyard, so I thought it would be relatively safe. I thought the street would
Yeah.
be the least safe.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. I mean, the street is kind of unsafe. They're all kind of unsafe, to be honest, unless you're teleporting in a random place outside the city, because people could be entering and exiting. But that's
Mm.
fine. So yeah. So anyway, you guys, but in this case, there's no mishap anyway. So you guys are able to teleport in safely. Grin, you see them come back with brother. We'll do it. We'll do it over here. Um, but by the way, what have you and the Grung been doing for a day? What'd you guys do?
Yeah, what have you been doing, Grin?
I would have been going around town trying to find out more information about the people in the temple
Yep. Okay, fair enough.
and possibly this new mayor, like where
Yep.
he lives.
Yeah, because we'll just make it a skill check. Do an investigation check. And Pepe, what did you want to do for that day?
I don't know.
All right. So
I got a 2.
all right, that's fine. So you didn't gain much information. Okay. That's fair. So anyway, so you guys get back, and you see brother.
Brother's back.
Brother, you see Grin for the first time in a while. And you see Pepe too, which you've never, you know nothing about Pepe.
He would just completely he would take a mental note of Pepe, but move right towards Grin.
Yep.
And first thing he would do is just grasp his hand and shoulder, and ask him how he fared.
Grin's gonna shake his hand, and he's just gonna give him the most exhausted expression that an orc face can make. Things haven't been good. Things have been bad. It doesn't look like you've been having fun either.
We have much to talk about, friend, but for now, somewhere safe.
We need to find somewhere safe and soundproof. We need to do a lot of talking.
This is the very first time, brother, that you have been outside of a city for in a while. And granted, it hasn't really been that long. It's only been months, but and technically I need to go back and double check that. I think it might even be less than that. But it's been. I mean, it's
It's
certainly
been about a month.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I think it's been about 4 weeks. But this is the very first time that you've been outside of like a city of influence or a city that you've been dealing with. It's kind of a sigh of relief that you're like, even if this is going to one day like become a problem and like develop everything and like basically end everything or whatever, this is the very first time that things have been kind of normal. Like you can tell that there's nothing here with whatever you've been fighting their influence, and that's at least a nice respite. So because you can physically feel it when you're in its presence now. So
Yeah, he would just take a very large sigh of relief, and the lights would dim on his face for a moment. He would just sort of hug his side a little bit and just look to everyone else as we need to get inside and talk.
Yes, we do. Private sanctum, and we catch up.
yep. All right.
Yeah, I'm assuming you guys haven't had a long time to talk before you guys teleported back here, but we have a lot to talk about.
A lot. We do. Oh, and brother, Kino's gonna hold up the scrapbook. We all took a chance to read it once you left. And I made some additions to it. And you see there's a few pages in the back that are recent, but we can go over that next week.
Yeah, and I'll let you. Pepe says he wanted to help you anyway since he wasn't doing anything. I'll let you roll that last one with advantage. You could have gone around the town with Pepe, so we roll one more time on your investigation score, Grim.
Okay,
Get even lower.
cool. I got a 0.
Awesome. Great.
I helped.
You guys were terrible at this. Really
That
bad.
tracks.
I
Yeah, we'll
forgot.
start. We'll start here from the next session. I think that's better anyway.
I
It's better to
forgot
start
some of.
with.
I forgot some of the information that I learned.
Yeah, you're like
He keeps tripping you.
you're literally just like, yeah, you created like a bigger like buzz around you. Now everyone knows you're back in town, and now it's gonna be maybe even harder to find information. That's fine though. Yeah, it's all good. So, yeah, cool. All right, guys, awesome. Yeah, so we'll start where we left off here next session.
Yeah, sounds good. Chris, you want to stick around for 2 seconds? We'll
Yeah,
talk to
sure.
you in secret.
Yeah, sure.